Okay, let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. Go back, go back, go back. Hmm. Oh, there we go. What you mean, man? Under. Hmm. Oh, there you go. There you go. How are you? How are you? Okay, let me see. Got that, got that, got that. And we live. What up, William, brother? Gave you hella acne? That's interesting. Don't take too much. Probably. Yeah. How much are you taking? Oh right. I was gonna get those. Catra. Yeah. You wanna make sure that yeah, that's where your journey to find out like body weight and just the number one thing is to make sure that you're not deficient. Yeah, I haven't seen us looking at that. Give me AIDS. Pick up a pack tomorrow. What it do, dude? What up, 501? All right, let's see. Yeah, I think I've heard of that. Vitamin B12 and acne. All right, let's see if we can find any studies. Yeah, so interestingly enough, just for the AI overview, high levels of B12 change how your skin bacteria functions, can produce pyrophorins instead of making their own B12. So yeah, so you have bugs in and on your body that make B12, and if you have just dosage breakouts usually link dosage higher or injections higher than 1,000 micrograms. And I take 5,000, but I don't have an if you have, I mean, obviously if you have an issue with that, you should definitely cut back. Like you either like not take it daily. Talk to you, not 1,000 micrograms a day for like 4 weeks. Maybe it's causing them to living in a tent. That could be it too. Yeah. You and also like you don't need. I don't need to take it daily. At like if I forget for a day or two, I start to notice like my brain fog and stuff like that coming back. But the from what you eat, if you take it even once a week, but it's important too, if you did notice a psychological benefit off of it, is to when you go to your doctor, mention that, and mention that you like the next time you have a blood test, or get a blood test are $50. Dan, I was gonna learn how to be a woman. Acne ran is normal. That's how he started. Don't forget to stretch, stay hydrated. That's right, very right. Hydration is definitely very important. Nature's Own. Is it cyanocobalamin or methylcobalamin? And is it tablets that you swallow or put under your tongue? My GABA mix an energy drink. Feeling by yeah. So I use I don't know what Gabica is, but if you meant to say GABA, that's what I used to. He's on his period. Mass trickery and deception. I did notice psychological differences for sure. Can they do blood tests? The tablets I swallow. I remember you saying the methyl version is way better. Yes. Okay. So what the ones that I take are they dissolve under your tongue. So there's only 3 ingredients in the ones that I take, and that's what is absolutely required for the pill. So milk, basically powdered milk for the pill, and then acacia gum to hold the pill together, and methylcobalamin. So 3 ingredients total, including the methylcobalamin, the B12. And other pharmaceuticals, here's my problem. I don't notice a benefit when I swallow B12. If I take B12, so there's this stuff called intrinsic factor in your intestines, which allows you to absorb B12 from pills that you swallow and food. And if, like me, you've got very low or missing intrinsic factor, you can't get it that way. So I take it so it dissolves under my tongue, but these are made for that. Europe stealing the entire world's gardens by fate. Wisconsin about to get a new governor. Yeah, that's what's going on. Gabicia, I've never even heard of that. All right, we'll check it out. Let's go back here real quick and get rid of the freaking. Where'd it go? Oh, is it? What did I miss? Oh, I guess I lost it. Okay, Gabicia. Gabicia is a brand name. Oh, pregabalin. Medication used for nerve pain, seizures, and anxiety disorders. Function as a gabapentinoid. Okay, so I take GABA, G-A-B-A, which is completely different than gabapentin. Gabapentin is a nerve blocker, and I'm guessing Gabicia is a form of that. Yeah, that stuff, man. GABA, GABA. I take GABA with magnesium glycinate at night, and that chills me out and puts me to sleep. Like I'll take it about a half hour before bed, and I'm out like 5 minutes after. And it usually takes me. I mean, when I was a kid, especially before I got my B12 deficiency taken care of, it would take me 4 or 5 hours to fall asleep at night. So GABA, which I don't know if gabapentin works on the GABA centers in the brain. Like I know other things like Xanax and Valium and other benzos work on the GABA center, and yeah, that's interesting though. I'll have to look into that more about. I actually don't think I've ever had anyone hate. I actually don't think I have ever met anyone that hates him like people hate politicians. Sure, he's got that like don't like him, but nobody's like he's the devil. I'm gonna miss him. Kendrick Lamar over Drake. Dude, listen, one of these days, Drake's going to be pulled out for what he is. A lot of his stuff is stolen. And maybe I'm just too old or people don't remember the younger stuff, but he got a wackadoo. Yeah, you're crazy, dude. You're out of here. See you. Okay. Bam, bam, bam. Mandela Barnes dropped out his first race. Just Francisco Hong. Tiffany now. Well, sounds fine. What up, Viber Pro? Subscribe today for a huge chance to like the stream. That's right. For a huge chance. Okay, right. So, going back to what you were saying, Brother Daniel. So the most important thing is if you notice the benefit from adding a vitamin or supplement, vitamin or mineral into your diet, supplementing with something, which if you notice the benefit, that usually means that it was missing from your diet. And if you've never even thought about vitamins or minerals before, that should be a indicator to say, okay, I noticed the benefit from this, and I eat like shit all the time, like I did, at least for what I did. And then so I said, okay, well, what else am I not getting 100% of? And then I start looking into every single other vitamin and mineral. Because listen, a lot of us used to get our minerals from water. Water would dissolve the minerals that in the earth. Water is one of the best solvents on the planet. And then you drink water out of the lake or your well, and you would get a bunch of minerals from that. But if we drink just purified water or bottled water, then we're not getting minerals that way. And if we're only eating meat or only eating like grocery store vegetables, we're not getting them that way either. And then you wonder why so many people need, like, say, well, we need free healthcare. We need free healthcare. And I think that we could get to free healthcare by not having so many sick people too. And so two things can be true at the same time. Tom Tiffany runs some interesting ads being a young girl living with a middle-aged man. You could say being a young girl living with my father. Saying being a young girl living with a middle-aged man sounds kind of freaking wackadoo. When ads are pushing different demographics, definitely strategize. They definitely do it. They definitely do it. I just want someone who's not going to sit on their ass. All right. Well, so past performance usually shows future performance. Past performance is a very good indicator. This is why it's very important to see like when people don't understand like anything at all, they vote blue no matter who or red no matter what. But you have people that don't align with either party running as opposite parties just because they can win in those areas. What's up, dude? I hope you're doing good today. Just got my new raw weed hat in the mailbox so I can put my weed in my hat. There you go, brother. What's up, y'all? Sick? This guy likes Israel. The government just approved a heroin as a nutritional supplement. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. What's up, zippity doo-dah? Me? I'm not wearing a mask. This is my nose. I made it by freaking slamming my face into the ground and skateboard ramps a bunch of times. Francisca Hong is tying herself to socialists, and they're both twisting each other into a drama knot. Yeah, I think these people really want the internet money. They really want the Instagram, YouTube, and X money. Like they start all this wackadoo drama. What up, Glenn Levy? Hello from British Columbia, Canada. How's the garden doing? Garden's doing really good. I got my hydroponics back up and running today. I thought I had a wiring problem, but come to find out it was unplugged. I unplugged it. I had to use a table saw back in my workshop, and I forgot that my hydroponics was running off of that outlet. So anyway, that was my problem, but everything's looking good though. Everything's looking good. The interesting thing, the Republican ran an ad against her that didn't push too strongly because they wanted to appeal to Democrats, so they couldn't run against her. Right, and this is an interesting thing about, this is why I tell people that don't worry so much about Republican and Democrat when it comes to local elections. See what they say. See what they say. Because the federal elections, they run so violent or vitriolically against each other that people think, oh, these are what Republicans do, this is what Democrats do. No, see what the people say what they're going to do. See what they voted for in the past. It only takes an hour. Yeah. I pull stuff out of it throughout the year. Yeah, except for the winter when, but yeah, I got stuff. I got a bunch of sweet potatoes. I got some okra coming up. I got sweet potatoes that I've already harvested. I got garlic bulb already harvested. I got onion Valdalia onion I've already harvested. I've got green beans, rattlesnake green beans I already harvested. Pharmaceutical Herwan is less harmful than this crazy weed. Brother, I think this genetically modified weed is really putting a lot of people into psychiatric freaking psychosis or weed psychosis. What up, Georgie? Make America grow weed again. It looks like they're unscheduling marijuana. So it looks like it might, if it's unscheduled, and you can do with what you want. That's what it seems like is going on now. So the Republicans think she's the easiest candidate to beat. I'm not sure how even sided this will be in Wisconsin. You never know. I'm here for the Dolphin Hub. What up, Totally? Here to party. You see Walrus, tell him I said, please, it's important you really listen. Okay, he'll probably be here. You got radishes? There he is. There's Walrus. He said, I'm trying to look into my dear Lord. I say so much crap to bend the truth. Right. That's why it's so important that you don't listen to the propaganda and you look into the people, how they voted and what they put on their own social medias, not what other people are saying about them. Because you hear like the way it was going between Democrats and Republicans. They were calling Trump Nazis and the Republicans Nazis, and they were calling Democrats freaking pedos and whatnot. You've got to actually look into your candidates, especially younger people, younger candidates, because they don't have a freaking 40-year history of in politics to, like, what weed. I blamed World War II on Fauci. They're blaming a lot of stuff on Fauci. I saw a bunch of people telling other Democrats and liberals to not read Fauci's diary because it's not your diary. You wouldn't want somebody reading your diary. Yeah, but this dude's the guy that made the health his diary and what he said had implications on health. THC don't deny. What up, Tony? You. Raise your hand if you like fresh parsnips. I haven't had parsnips. I like parsnips. I'll raise my hand. I like parsnips. I had them years ago, and I used to use them in stews, like besides potatoes. What up, Brad? Jesus is King. One day closer to the rapture. Yeah. Yeah, but when it comes to politics, you got to go outside of the drama and bullcrap. And if you really want to if you want to get outside of the crap and you want to invest in your future, you have to know what people want to do for you. Not, I live in freaking North Dakota. What is my mayor going to do about Israel or Palestine or whatever? What is he going to do about the people in your area that need help in your area? I think we've gotten America got so spoiled because even our poor are fat that, like, everybody's like, no, if you're not for this or this foreign land doing this or that, we can't have you as a representative. It doesn't make any sense. I like leaves. Tetrahydrin. Blame it on Fauci. Hopefully just one. Catra. Your channel rules. Thank you, brother. Even so, come Lord Jesus. Yep. One rapture. One rapture is all it takes. Okay, let's see. Okay, where are we at here? Let's see what's going on the internet. What am I missing here? Something was broken. There we go. There we go. Okay. Jake's online. Race Hustlers Panic, NASCAR's 2000, new flock camera challenge. Man, I think so many people are going to get into so much trouble. Like, I was just watching some YouTube shorts before I went live, just for a couple of minutes, just to, like, catch up after I stopped. I had a bunch of work around the property today. And so many people, like known creators, are showing like how quick you can cut down 2 1/4 inch aluminum piping, which is aluminum pipes is what they're putting the flock cameras up on, and they're shit. So listen, you need to vote against that stuff. Don't get yourself thrown in jail. We've had so many raptures. No, I don't. Thank you, Ronnie. Welcome, my friend. Thank you, Ronnie. Okay, let's see. No gyro. Democrats were mental. The Republicans are crazy. I got everything in my feed. John Duffy says freedom haulers, lifeguard. We watched that yesterday. The lifeguard. Did you guys? I don't know if anybody saw this. Like, next you racist Republicans are going to tell me I can't marry my brother. I know. I apologize, dude. You should absolutely be able to marry your brother, Andrew. Bring him over from Somalia. Richard, I met so many people think there's a rapture when it doesn't happen. Right. And this is important. This is why it's important that if you're interested in stuff like that, like whatever religion the people are talking about, learn the scripture that they're speaking from, because a lot of times it's people that are in psychosis and or people that want scams. Like there's those people that were like, oh, I'm the next Noah, and I'm gonna help build an ark to save the world. Just start sending money to my Cash App, PayPal to this account, so and then that kind of stuff. Like, people need to know where they're coming from. Fauci is evil. Too bad his first name is Anthony. We're talking about the rapture in the Bible. It hasn't happened. Yeah. She's still learning. Hey, brother. Spain is about, yes, I saw that. That was crazy. The video from that was crazy. Like, that was a straight up invasion. That wasn't people peacefully crossing the border and saying, hey, can we live here? No, there was tens of thousands of people. At least it might have been just thousands of people, and I saw it from many, many angles. But thousands and thousands of people rushing into the north tip of Africa. Spain owned land. Dude, listen, it's going to, when people start to realize that it's not just America and England that's pronouncing or pushing reversing mass migration, and you start, they're not going to be able to hide, the news ain't going to be able to hide it for a long time. What up, Sir Reginald Bumquist III? Chilling, brother. The last Trump, the trumpet will sound. We don't even know what kind of shit people going to happen. Just kind of picture Jesus coming and saying hi. Well, there's some story behind that. You like Nicholas Bowling? My eldest son is living in Spain. He's a missionary there. The turd. No, well, I mean, he might be talking about something different. Just so you believe in Jesus, that's all that matters. Rapture, knowledge, salvation. No, it's not a salvation issue. Men slightly browner than Spaniards are on the beach, losing their minds. Yeah, that's what's going on. We'll try to find something. I want to look at this guy, give this guy his flowers.
A 16-year-old lifeguard is being hailed as a hero. It comes after a viral video shows him rescuing a 10-year-old boy from massive waves at Seabright State Beach in Santa Cruz, California.
I found out that Nature's own brand of vitamins don't have to disclose the makeup, the filler in their tablets. Yeah. Listen, I mean, I'll tell you what I take. I take Superior Source, no shot. Here, I'll do a full screen here for you. Superior Source, no shot, methylcobalamin. I take 5,000. I mean, that's just what I take. You can take way less, or you should take. Talk to your doctor, do your research. But that's what I take. Very, very important. Like, listen, very important to look into. Well, Jesus definitely existed. I'm not so sure. I'm not dumb. He was definitely, he's definitely for real. I think there are so many people that are anti any religion or religious at all. So they think if it's in the Bible, it's just fake, or if it's in the Quran, it's just fake, or Torah, it's just fake. But you can just use history. You can just look up and see, like, there are non-religious secular sources of these historical facts. Did you know that the people that you can get a pizza, any size pizza with toppings? Did you know that you can get any size pizza with toppings for just $9.99, including the all-new Parmesan stuffed crust, only at Domino's? I got you, Mayo, brother. It's an Australian law. They don't have to. That's crazy. So much evidence pro Israel is agnostic because they want to learn about religions for Jesus is real for sure. Yeah. That's how humanity should be, right? Like okay, yes, there's all this evidence, but you have people that are absolute. They want to rewrite morality laws, so they want to tell everybody no, don't read these books, don't do that. We'll choose our own morality. No problem, Daniel. I'm here to help, brother. And he comes back. Great. That's right. Thank by the grace of God, both my boys are better than me. Praise the Lord, brother. I mean, historical, that's the way it happened. Jesus, yeah, right. And he's in every major religion. That's one of the interesting things too. If you take the problem is with people that are complete atheist, like they believe in atheism, they believe that they're correct. Not agnostic, where they're like, I haven't had enough time in life to collect enough data, yeah, that's wackadoo. Anyway, check this out.
Kaylee Hartung has more on this story.
This morning, the teen lifeguard who drew nationwide attention for a heroic rescue captured on dramatic video earlier this week is speaking out. Ryder Williams saying in a statement, "This is my job, and I love what I do," as the father of the boy he saved praises the teen's actions.
I mean, I cannot even express how much gratitude I have towards him.
Dude.
16-year-old Williams giving more details about the incident off the coast of Santa Cruz, saying he ran into the ocean when he saw the child stumble in ankle-deep water.
Christ
But
changed
due
the
to the
world
volatility
like
of the
no
water,
other
he
religious
couldn't
figure.
get the body
Love him,
into a
brother.
rescue tube or pull him out of the water because, quote, he was
Rescue
limp
tube?
and the waves were pushing so hard. The bystander who captured that viral video telling NBC Bay Area the
I wonder if the newscaster is going to be like, hey, I'm glad you got this footage, but why didn't you help? I know someone there. I know Jesus exists, and I'm just not sure about the afterlife stuff. Don't feel comfortable place with it. No one's asking you to right now, Katra. The thing is, it takes time. That's what grace is all about. You don't want anybody being hateful to people because they haven't learned as much as anybody else. Like you typically give people grace when they're in 8th grade that they don't know what you know in college and whatnot. It's just an education thing. But when people think that they know even the data at 13 years old, when just because the guy that they looked up to in high school, was like, look, dude, freaking money ain't real, God ain't real. Okay, cool. You know nothing about nothing. You just want to act like you know stuff. I don't believe in religions either. I believe in Jesus. Right. I'm there. Respects to the host of the chat from Southern Oregon. Hope you're having a fantastic day on purpose. Thank you, brother OG, Mr. West. You too, my friend. Democrats hated all the Christian stuff's off the chart. Yeah, and the Jews and anybody else, and that's I think that's why they're losing so much. Like, we are such a wealthy country. We could be helping everybody, but the choices in who gets helped. Oh man, I tell you what, I had a very good idea today about. You know how they wanted to shift America over to using green energy and other Western countries in using green energy? Why didn't we give that green energy to the super poor of the world that have no power so that they could start economies there? You need power of some sort, energy, to create to create economies of scale. So instead of saying, let's get America off of coal and whatnot, how about say, let's work on that in the next 10 years. Let's take these huge fields of solar panels and send them to places around the world that don't have 24-hour power and set up things for them. So then as it gets perfected in the areas that are absolutely like under $1 a day poor, then they could get that figured out for shifting us that direction instead of just being like, no, we're starting now. It just was all wackadoodle. Not all Democrats hate Christians, though. It's just the party. It's the party. But when people say Democrats, people say Republicans. They're typically talking about the leadership. If you're talking about the voters, it's typically conservatives and liberals. But now so many people are independents now too, just because of the freaking the kick in the balls it's been, especially on the internet. Most of my family, most are all Christian. I mean, left views. I don't know how you could vote for a party like pro-abortion, allow Christian life. So my theory is, you have people that want to change our government layout. If it's not to away from capitalism, away from towards socialism or communism. And one of the big things they need to do is they need to be able to change the Constitution. And the Constitution grants us rights from our creator. And if there can be enough movement for people to say there is no creator, then they could have that document changed. It's not that they don't want you to believe in God. It's that they don't want you to believe in God because they want to change these documents. It goes a little deeper than that, than just God's not real. God eats your money. Now that's where the path leads in order to change the Constitution and take those rights away, and then have those rights given to you, the ones that they choose by the powers that be, by the government rather than endowed. Says man, believe it, preach it, others witness God. What's up, Moontain? The moon ain't real. Man, Moontain, I can't read. Why is there so much abortion, birth control? No, it's not that hard to use.
Surf had been normal.
And then that just changed.
I fish, brother.
That changed in a heartbeat. And it caught a lot of people off guard.
Describing the moment when Williams reached the boy.
He had just like a gorilla grip, that he wasn't going to let him get swept out any further.
Williams eventually getting him to shore with another lifeguard's
Hello,
help.
Master.
The lifeguard's father telling the
Mikey,
Guardian
Mike
Williams knew
Michaels.
the boy could die.
Nice to meet
He
you,
let
Mikey
him
Mike
go,
Michaels.
and that the teen said, quote, "I just was not going to let that happen." His father saying, "I almost started crying because how determined he was to save that boy's life makes me so proud." The video drawing widespread praise, including from the president, who invited Williams to the White House. But the lifeguard remaining humble, saying other lifeguards perform rescues just like this every day, and that he was just grateful to return the child safely to his family. That family also thankful.
Damn, that's nice. What up, Aaron, brother? You're in Northwest Baltimore? I remember that. By Towson. What up, Shiraj? You're crazy. Oh shoot, I forgot to do the dishwasher. Yeah, you can go ahead and ban him. Mental. Richard Menard. Jesus loves me for this, I know, for the Bible tells me so. Okay, let's see where we're going back here. Pikesville. Yeah, I've been in Pikesville plenty of times. Plenty of times. All right, let's see. Can culture be rebuilt? Here's the real deal. Slow roads. Hey, Shiraj, you're on the front page, brother. You're on the front page. There's Shiraj. Right there. Jimmy Swiss, Veggie Tales forever iconic. If you're not Christian, it's a great message. Right. And that should be obvious enough. But the thing is, you have to understand that there's something behind that. The reason is because they want to change the way that the government is laid out. They want to change the rules, and you have to get the creator out of the conversation if you want to change the Constitution. Yep, new series I'm telling you about. Yeah, brother, make it happen. Let's see. We're open topic, Mike. Open topic. I'm gonna find something here for us to watch. Let's see. Massive leak. Here's the real deal. Where's it at? 8 o'clock. Okay, let's see. Pro riders plan to get memory loss. That's an hour long. We ain't watching that. This is wrong. Dynamite that failed to detonate on Pittsburgh Bridge goes off 24 hours later.
Now, for nearly 24 hours, traffic has been flowing again on the Parkway East. It reopened last night a full week earlier than had been expected. But now it turns out there was a hiccup in the process that could have been a bit...
I get that. I get that a lot. I'm her alter ego. I'm her I'm the antithesis of her. I'm the carnivore teacher.
Big problem, and it was caught on camera. Lauren Linder has the details only on KDKA.
The Parkway East is back open, but PennDOT crews are continuing to clean up debris from the old bridge on Commercial Street. That's exactly what they were doing the day after the implosion, when they had a very close call. Check out this video. A blast and then a plume of dust suddenly fills the air at the Parkway East construction site. The moment captured on PennDOT cameras around 7:40 in the morning on the 17th, almost exactly 24 hours after the contractors blasted the old Commercial Street Bridge.
So they didn't make sure that all the dynamite went off.
In the video, you can see what appears to be workers running away as others turn to look, trying to figure out what happened.
Jeez.
Everybody was caught off guard by it, for sure.
District 11 Senior Assistant Construction Manager John Myler now confirms to KDKA as their crews were cleaning up debris from the demolition of the bridge, a piece of equipment hit an explosive that hadn't gone off.
I can imagine that's the rate you're going with the heart issues. That's wackadoo. Yeah, I can understand that though. Day tripper. Is that stinky farts?
The initial blast.
Skunk.
One of the operators struck a piece, doing demolition of the bridge, struck a piece of unknown and unexploded dynamite, and that set it off.
We're told the demolition contractors initially combed the area after the
Good work,
implosion on
gentlemen.
Thursday and gave the all clear. But following this incident on Friday, they were called back to the site to make sure there was no other unexploded dynamite remaining.
For some reason,
You think they would have done that before they let people back on there?
this
Imagine a
one
voice
stick
telling you to take
apparently
the
was
guard
not,
out.
detonated. Certainly
Her voice, the voice from the radio, from the television. Yeah.
Unsettling to
Only
come
teacher I
across
passed
something like
coming
that.
back.
About 12 hours later,
What up,
another
little native
all clear,
mama?
and crews were allowed to return to work.
No salt.
Myler
Mrs.
said
Dash is good. Yeah, no salt is okay. So regular table salt is sodium chloride, and no salt is potassium chloride. So they're saying that the sodium is the issue. If they're saying that you can use no salt, I'm switching to which is still a salt. It's still a salt. It's just, but it's not table salt. Sodium chloride. I switched to a gen ed. General education, not doing architecture at this semester, at least. Why is that? Don't be a bum, hit the thumb. Yeah, Mrs. Ash is good. Yeah.
as no one was hurt and no equipment was damaged. And he says PennDOT doesn't plan to pursue any further investigations with the contractor.
This was just an errant mistake in that process.
An
It
errant
almost
mistake
blowed some people
that
up.
fortunately didn't lead to anything worse.
The other students are glad to see him go. And I understand not liking him. Also, I think he's one of the few teachers left who knows how to hold people accountable and struggle with that. Oh, no, that's why. That's absolutely why. If you don't fall in line with this new way of teaching, like everybody's a perfect little snowflake and they're just coming into their own, living their truth type thing. No. And that's a huge problem in education. And there's a huge change happening now. Like colleges are now not letting kids dress like they're at home or the way they dressed in high school and college, because so many children, young adults that get out of college, so they haven't seen the real life, right? The real world. Like what college used to do was people used to dress up like suits and ties and at least button downs and stuff to act like they were going to a job interview every day when you went to college. But now it's like high school 2.0. And then but it costs a whole lot of money. And you never know who you're gonna meet, who you're gonna have the ability to network with when you're at college. I mean, the main value of college is who you can meet, who you can network with. And if you're going around with your boobs out and stuff and all wackadoo, then you're really cutting off a lot. It's not, people think the degree is the value that you just got the piece of paper, but that's not true. What used to come with the degree was the networking and the people that you've met. You're there with people that are going for a reason. They want to create businesses, they want to create jobs, and then they see you as somebody that they could do that works in that framework. But if you're just going because this is what you do after high school, go to college, and you don't really know what you want to do, it's really bad for a lot of kids, I think. Richard, if Trust is First built a bridge, I know a lot of people, I know a lot of ways to skimp on the important work, but I'd trust you to build something as big as a bridge. Thank you, Brother Crying Fish. I think I would do a good job. And I actually helped build a train bridge at the Maryland Zoo in Baltimore. I think it's still there. The other teachers try to keep me accountable, but it's not just the same, right? Thank you, Brother Crying Fish. I got the original herb and garlic flavors. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I was going to say that's original, right, man. Rich, what's your opinion on canned Dole pineapples? I was never a fan of pineapple. So I couldn't tell you. It never really a thing of the only time I've ever used pineapple was when we would put pineapple on ham, and that ain't your thing. So, and I wouldn't even eat the pineapple. I just like the way that it like sweetened the ham. But yeah, I wouldn't eat canned pineapple. Business never admits fault. Yeah. Why would they do that, Trevor? Their lawyers being like, don't admit fault. You don't want it used against you. Because if somebody else goes and gets hurt, if some kid accidentally finds another piece of unexploded ordnance or dynamite, whatever they were using. And yeah. I got sunburn. I soaked in a bath of Alka-Seltzer. Alka-Seltzer, used it as a tea bag on. It was so helpful. Alka-Seltzer. I'm gonna miss him. He saw that I thrived under pressure, and he put under, and all the kind knew I was trying to keep his boundaries. Well, that's a big problem too. Is children don't understand boundaries, and I mean that's what immaturity basically is. Besides lack of knowledge, it's lack of understanding how to understand boundaries. Kids push boundaries. They cry and cry like very small babies. They cry and cry and cry and cry and cry until they get what they want. And then as kids get a little bit older, 2, 3, 4 years old, they still try that, even though they could use their words. Mom, my dad, I want this, blah, blah, blah. But when they're just transitioning through that age, they'll cry and cry and cry because it worked before. And if you don't ever set up boundaries, then kids won't ever think, how can I get this done? How can I do this? If I want something, just cry and be loud. And that's what I think we're seeing in college age kids now, is a lot of that immaturity. Just if you don't get what you want, just be loud. College today is like 110th grade. Bernie, my dad says they discovered the lost girls of Donald when they were digging up the White House ballroom. The lost girls of Donald. I like the other teachers as people, but I need them to know. I need them not just throw in 4-week project, 3 assignments and tell me you're doing great. Yeah, that's not teaching. That's not teaching. Probably not, Bernie. Considering when Donald Trump was there in 2016, there wouldn't have been anywhere to bury the people. Meanwhile, when my grades would dip, my other teachers would tell me what to do to get them up and ask me if I needed a review or fix something. Well, that's what they're typically supposed to do. What up, Space Cow? I dare you to sing the entire Rock in the Suburbs songs. Right, meow. No, we did that yesterday, and it doesn't help to breastfeed until you're 8 now or 13. Trust me, there's a grown-ass woman so loud, like I'm gonna drop out every 2 seconds when she's at the same. Right. If I yell loud enough, then people will bend to my will, and that's not good for a freaking society. I have 3 online master's degrees, and I serve you at burrito at Taco Bell. Enjoy your meal. I'm just frustrated in school, and I'm sad going somewhere else so I get this school's flimsy administrative way. And that structure is what leads to growth. Structure. So if you try to lean on this structure and it bends, then it's flimsy, and it's not going to be like, these are the lanes that I need to stay in. No, we went completely away from that, trying not to like hurt people's feelings by failing them. But you have to fail before you succeed. And if you never get to that, people don't ever fail people when they're on the wrong path, they won't shift gears. Dude, listen, I was listening to some freaking wackadoo, some teachers that were, I want to say they were in 9th grade teachers, and they had people that were 17 and 18 years old in 9th grade. And they said they just kids like basically gave up. They just like sleep. You're the coolest guy on the internet. Did you train for a radio career? I sang in a band for quite a few years. I owned a recording studio, so I did a lot of studio stuff. I did some voiceover work. Oh, my precious. My precious. I did a lot, brother. Thank you for the burrito. Why did you give me 57 sausages? True story. Katra, I save you a snickerdoodle cookie. Perhaps we could eat it together. Yeah, I'm just going to let myself fail those 2 classes because it's the end of the summer and school failed to provide me a laptop. Rage quit. Yeah, not a good idea. Not a good idea. And kids don't understand the value of money. When they're coming out of high school and they go right into college and they're spending tens of thousands of dollars, and they don't have to work for that money first. That is very bad for kids. They do not understand it. They just get what they want and they see numbers on paper, but they don't understand what amount of work makes what amount of money. So when you say, oh, it's going to be $70,000, $60,000 a semester, they're like, okay, cool. All right, I'll be a billionaire when I get out with my freaking butt cheek flossing degree. And they don't understand. And the freaking university system knows this. So now, supposedly now, there's a a step or a place, something in place to not allow colleges to sell degrees to people that are paying with debt, paying with student loans, student aid, federal student aid. If they're going for a course that they would, if you're going for into an industry that wouldn't pay you more money with a degree than it would pay you with just a high school diploma, then you have to pay for it yourself. You can't. So now they won't allow kids to get student loans for things that there's no jobs at on the other side. That's good. That's good. It's warm, cowboy. That's a spirit. John Goldbody, Pablo Patriot. Snuffle TV is so ungrateful. John Goldbody. Good sir, so original. Bumquist the third. How would you recommend one starting in voice work? Start doing YouTube shorts. Start doing and start absolutely build yourself an online catalog of things. And if you suck at it, don't post it. But as you start to get better, post it. Start another channel. And it doesn't even have to necessarily have your face in it, but if it does, it would be for the better. And start copying the greats. Try to find out where your voice fits, and then look up. Okay, I'm a baritone. I'm a soprano. I'm a whatever. What animated characters or have these style voices, and then start practicing with that, and then try to go lower, then try to go higher, then try to go low. I'm so frustrated that the school didn't properly support me. I'm switching to something I can do instead of the work one wants to. What was the name of one of the bands you sang for? I will look for the vinyl. That's funny. I am old, Bernie. I'm rocking the suburbs, just like John Bon Jovi did. John Goldbody did. I'm rocking the suburbs, except that he was talented. I'm in Georgia now, user, but I was from Baltimore, Maryland originally. It makes my bean burrito go from $1.59 to $1.99. Why the excessive napkins and sauce? Joe Jack, people need to get degrees in fields where jobs are available instead of useless political science degrees or something to that effect. I agree. And well, now, like like I said, if a bachelor's degree won't pay you more in that field than a high school diploma is, then you can't get federal student loan for that. If it does, but the master's degree doesn't pay you more than the bachelor's would pay, then you can't get federal student loan for that now. So now, at least you could, if you pay for it yourself, you can take whatever you want. But at least as of now, you can't. Colleges and universities can't sell you courses that aren't of value in the industry of what you're searching for. When you get a chance, because you look into the city of Atlantis in the eye of Sahara. Very interesting. Okay, we do that. I checked the internet of prices of my Trek mountain bikes. $1,000 bike. I get compliments on the color all the time. The locals think it's great looking. Yeah, I saw that. That's what we were gonna look into. Spain, right? Spain mass migration. Was Baltimore as bad as the Wire? Yes, worse. Absolutely worse. Yeah, it was absolutely. It was all. I mean, it's still like even the police department was run by the street gangs. They would go bust. They would go do drug busts, and then they would take those drugs, repackage them, and then have them, because they're supposed to be incinerated. They're supposed to burn them. So they would say, okay, they're burnt. And then they would go have their street gangs go back out and sell them. It was wackadoo. Georgia, where the men are men and so are the women. Baltimore has rough spots, but Maryland's nice all over. Yeah, Baltimore's rough. Yeah, Maryland's got some beautiful places. I didn't mean to imply that you were old because your band might have released some vinyl. Did you do any CDs? Yeah, we did CDs and we did cassette tapes and we didn't get MP3s. I have 211 college credits, too much embracing the brain rot at 54, and beer and karaoke. Every hood is the same. What kind of idiot keeps all his bananas in a bunch? You have to diversify. Okay. Yeah, Suta. Let's see. That was a couple hours ago. Let's see if I can find a video on it. Yeah, this is so crazy. Oops, wrong button. Look at this. This is so crazy. That's nuts. Bananas are definitely separatist. This is okay. So at the very tip of Africa, where Africa connects to Spain, like by the Strait of Gibraltar. Yeah. So Spain owned. There's a Spanish owned colony or whatever the hell you want to call it at the tip of Africa called Ceuta. 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 I'm so old. I don't buy green bananas anymore. I guess it's all relative. Grew up in an area where MS-13 were chopping the heads off of teenagers, saying, Baltimore isn't uniquely bad, right? Yeah, it's the Spain and Morocco area. Yeah, so they're working with the Moroccans also. The Ravens suck, by the way. How did... I want to know where they're going. Like they're all running into like the town center, but where are they going? I think the elites might have built themselves a super city underneath CERN for when they pulled Doomsday Lever. Do you have any thoughts on this? Yeah. And I had the same thoughts on it when it started to go over budget back in like the 90s and 2000s. Yes, I absolutely thought. So have you ever heard about the wackadoo stuff that's supposedly underneath the pyramids? And this is what I was thinking the same thing when they were building all this super crazy stuff with CERN, that they were actually spending a lot more money building like an underground, like superhuman retreat or super wealthy human retreat. They enclave on the continent of Africa, so they haven't gotten into Spain. This is owned by Spain. This place, it's called Ceuta, Spain, Ceuta, Spain, but it's on the African continent, just at the very top. MS-13 always sounds like a vitamin supplement. Make sure you take your MS-13. Good luck. Yeah, they don't. Correct about your hood comment, John. Yep. Raven's named after Edgar Allan Poe the Raven. Yes. They're named after Edgar Allan Poe the Raven. Yes, bloodthirsty brother. That's 1,500 migrants swarming onto the Spanish border. The vast majority of them was picked up and returned. Spanish police and Moroccan government will take zero shit. The police just watch. They probably don't have the manpower. No, hell no. 1,500 people coming up all at once. What are you gonna do? You need an army. How did you know that? Some kind of interweb wizard. I'm smart, brother Joe. I have it. I would say it's a blessing. For some reason, I absorb knowledge. Like it's almost like a photographic memory. Yeah, it's a tiny split of. Yeah, let's look at it. Why aren't you doing that? Okay. All right. Let's do this. Oops, what's this here? Okay, so all right, so there that's Spain right there, and then this is the Strait of Gibraltar, and then this little tip right here is Ceuta, Ceuta right here. So Spain, and it is all down here is African continent. And they pepper go up all goons. Yeah, they need something. When crowds get out of hand, nuke them. Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. I want to know where they came from. They came by water. So why, like, you think they would have come across like Tangier and whatnot and like came across the border into this area right here. Like, they came from the water, so where did they come from? I mean, it can't frickin', you think they come from frickin' all the way out here somewhere? Yeah, that's crazy. What up, Lord Alcatraz? They wouldn't be doing that if they weren't taken out on site. If they were taken out, yeah, I agree. Yes, you're correct. $21 trillion disappeared from the American economy from 1990 to 2000. Told you, brother. I told you, brother. Gone. So where'd it go? Where'd it go? Just poof. What's up, Sarah? Looks like World War Z. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's odd that they're coming from the water side, unless they went around it. Like, if there's a barrier in place and they couldn't get there by land, so they just went to the edge and then like just, because it seemed like they had like tires and floats and boats and whatnot. They swarm around the border fence. Yeah, let's say they went right in. Looks like some History Channel human animal migration program. I mean, listen, something wackadoo's going on. Okay, now if it's not the wackadoo, if most of you know what I'm talking about, then it's probably the water. There's a lot of water in Arab countries now. They're out. A lot of places are their taps are dry. Like, this is one of the reasons that the Iranian Guard killed so many of their protesters. Before America and Israel attacked Iran was shooting up. There was protests going on in Iran because a lot of places didn't have any water. So they were protesting, like, what's going on with the water? And they were like, you guys better leave. They shut the internet off and started blasting our people. So, we, on a past couple streams ago, we looked into the water issue going on in that band right in the Middle East, and they got rivers drying up. They got countries north or upstream of other countries putting dams in because the water's falling. So they're putting dams in, letting less water to the countries below them, and that's going into the people that live off the water. So that's who's gonna be hurt worse. You and Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk are truth tellers. Yeah, right. It's a border fence like between Mexico and Cali. The border fence goes out to sea. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, looks like it did. Somalia Leering Centers. If the Democrats win 2028, we can kiss the United States as we know it goodbye. Yeah, well, they're not doing so good now. Like I was saying yesterday, in Pennsylvania, the Democrats had a 1 million voter lead, registered voter lead over the Republicans. But so many people left the Democrat Party for independent and Republican that now the Democrats only have a 50,000 registered voter lead. And they're broke. The Democrat National Committee is broke now. Like, they're asking for a $15 million loan against their building, using that, and they're also asking for favors for fronts. They're saying, hey, can we print a bunch of this stuff, buy a bunch of stuff, but you bill us after the midterms? So things are going, and they're not getting any major donations anymore from the oligarchs on the left. Could be like Canada. People fly to Canada and just walk down the border with them. Yeah, that happened to Mexico. Yeah. What up, frickin' Yogi? I think I have everything fatigue. I just got swamp Irish, brother. Just sitting around taking it all in. Yeah, it's best. I'll be armed and posted at Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, and the rest is Wisconsin militia. They must have won a soccer match. What is gating with youth voters is socialism? Yeah. Well, and also there's a lot of youth that are promoting or not or accepting this on the left socially, because they know that a lot of their friends or peers are very, like, if you say, well, I think I'm in the center, they're like, you're a Nazi, you're a freaking Republican sympathizer. And it gets so bad on the internet that they're just like, okay, I'll just lie about it. This is why so many people switch to independent, but 77% of the people now registered independent said the reason that they switch is because they don't want the Democrats to go to socialism / communism. Snuffles TV is a proud American. I'm a proud American with the red, white, and blue. The red, white, and blue. Republicans are too dumb and uneducated to dismiss socialism, social democracy. So you think that's a good way to win them over? KGAT? You think that's a good way to win them over? saying, hey, you should vote this anyway because you're just too stupid to understand it, so just vote this way. That's probably a good idea, right? Probably. California is 15 times the landmass of the whole island of Ireland. America. Yeah, and so this whole like Dunning-Kruger leftist thing, like saying like we're smarter than you. Right, if you're so much smarter than the conservatives, then why are you so in debt? Why can't you? And then like the Democrat, the current Democrat national, the current Democratic Party is so in debt, and then this is coming to the people. The people are saying you can't even balance your own finances, and you want to run the country. Yeah, that's not going to work. Who wants to win over the party of pedos, billionaires, and trailer parks? I mean, and I think the big problem, like why you lost me and why you lost so many people in the movie industry, was because you had things like Tim Waltz pardoning a 5-time pedophile. Like you can say all about the pedophilia and stuff about the right, but you've got actual documented pardons from the guy that was supposed to be the vice president of the United States pardoning a pedophile. Yeah, and so it's like, and then you have the guy in Maine who had a Nazi tattoo and a bunch of women saying that he abused them, and that you still pushed for him and stuff. So you can't really say that. And there's more billionaires on the left than the right. You only know of 4 billionaires, and you only ever talk about 3 of them on the right. There's 989 billionaires in the United States, and most of them are on the left, but none of them are donating anymore. Why is that? I think the Independent Party will win 2028. Tucker Carlson will lead them as the president. That's what he's trying to do. Telling people it's stupid to do something is just going to get them exactly how the person was convinced to have opinions in the first place. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. We're too set in our ways to provide socialized benefit. I believe in merciful capitalism. Yeah, me too. I think we have enough money to help. And if we cap up all of the leaks, we could absolutely have more socialized medicine. But I think 2 things can be true. We could also try to help people be less sick all the time by not freaking poisoning them with the food base. Democrats have been much better with the economy. And that's not what the numbers say. That's not what the numbers say. We looked into it yesterday, and that's not what the numbers say anymore. More independents and Democrats think over a 2-point, say Trump will handle the economy better. Because look what just happened with the open border and the wackadoo stuff with COVID that just happened during the last Democrat administration. They completely slaughtered the economy. And at least we've got $19 trillion invested in the United States since Trump came back into office. So I have to disagree with you. Dumb people think they're smart. And the guy in Maine was pushed out. What about Max Miller? I don't know. Independents are, no, they're not. You think they're fence sitters? Why did they leave the Democrat Party to become independents if they're fence sitters? I think you were wrong about who's the unintelligent ones. I think you just know points to spout back, and you're not very good at this job. And if you're being paid for this, you should be fired. What was the real DuPont and the Biden prosecutor's son? Dig up Generalissimo Franco and put him into control. Democrats are horrible with the economy. All to do right, and that's their plan. Their current plan is to tax more, and they want to reopen the holes in the bucket. I think you lost a lot of the independents towards Trump when the tax cuts happened. And this guy is nuts, just polishing MAGA turds. And you're not polishing freaking socialist turds? Tell me somebody that's worth, win my vote, Kay. Win my vote. You're not winning my vote. Remember, I didn't vote for Trump. You didn't know that. I didn't vote for Trump. But I'm a Republican now. You didn't ask why. You didn't ask what I didn't know then that I know now. You have no idea who you're talking to. So you're doing the society a disservice. You can't just the Democrats are better with the economy, even though their economy is trashed. They're $2 million in debt. Nobody's donating. They're putting their office up for collateral to get a loan, and they can't even handle their own economy. And you're saying the Republicans? No, you're just wrong. Democracy is more of Helldivers 2 meme at this point. We call it democracy if Trump has the less votes and gets elected anyway because of swing states. That's right. I see a lot of similarities between the Democrat Party and the Donner Party. Tucker Carlson will fire up gas chambers and crematoria. Yeah, I think I'll do. No Republican president has ever added as many jobs as Democrat presidents in a half century. Well, and you don't think now with all of the companies that are about to open up in the next year that's going to change? You don't think that's about to change like dramatically now that we had $19 trillion from other countries and companies outside of the United States investing back in the United States? All of these buildings, all of these companies that are opening up plants in America. You don't think that's going to change? I don't think you understand what you're talking about. I got into a debate with my leftist friend, and his defense was percentages, whereas flat income tax increases hurts everyone, isn't fair for those who earn the dollar that dollar raised. I mean, what we need more manufacturing in America to get more people to do, and that's what's happening right now. That will allow people to get better. And if the government stops spending so much money on crap, then our taxes would be able to go down. But the Democrats' only idea is to keep raising the income taxes, keep raising sales taxes, keep raising property taxes, because they don't want to get their spending under control. And now that so many people know that a lot of that money's leaving the country, they're not happy with it. Mandatory IQ test minimum to score to speak in public, 90. Did someone mention doner kebabs? Minute vote 120. Democrats made it illegal for people to go to work during COVID. Yeah, they're not happy. Yeah, you think MAGA's the American Taliban? You think that? Or you like to just say that on the internet? Democrat Lyndon Baines Johnson destroyed the country and black families with social welfare programs. Absolutely. And it hasn't done much better. Here's the thing that people are noticing now. The Democrat Party is the party of the poor. So if you register as a Democrat, the only way that they'll keep you as a Democrat is to keep you poor, because everybody knows that the Republicans are the party of the wealthy. So if you want to be wealthy, why would you want Democrat leadership? If you're a Republican and they make you poor, you'll switch to Democrat. And they understand this. I don't think leftists understand this, that it's the policies that are making you poor. Are the poorest of the poor in America are wealthy enough to be obese and tell us about it on the internet on their iPhones. If you want manufacturing in America, just abolish child labor laws. Yep. Really starting to respect China's government nowadays. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about that. Yes, stand still, lady. A lot of AI data centers happening in Wisconsin. I'd love to see you again. What's going on? What's up, Lib? I thought you had to be gay pronouns to make absolutely no sense. I completely different. Republicans make the rich richer and the poor poorer. No. So why did Bernie Sanders become a millionaire? If he was being so great, why is he flying around on private jets? Why are most billionaires leftists or Democrats? This is the problem. You only know about a few 4 or 5 billionaires, and they're on the right, but there's 900, more than 900 on the left. And how do these people get rich? Using lobbying, using the Democrat system, and setting up ways to make the government pay for other people's stuff. But the government's not paying for it. The government's not making money off of it. There's companies that work with the people in the government that say, hey, let's do this. So then the money comes straight from the government to that company's pockets. And that's who's making the millionaires and billionaires on the left. You just get so mad that you have to say that about the right. It's not true. Remember, you guys had Elon. If you vote Republican, you're on the side. No, and the SPLC got caught giving money to white supremacist groups. So the Democrats' freaking Poverty Law Center was giving money to white supremacist groups. It's just not true anymore. Bernie got paid $190,000 a year for decades. How can he not be a millionaire? Dude. Well, but he's a millionaire as a Democrat. So how many other Democrats do you think made that? And he sells shirts and he flies private. Who's paying for the private jets? Who's paying for the private jets at $20,000 to $40,000 each way? Democrats make crooks rich. Yeah, absolutely. Doner kebabs. The Republicans don't enable poverty, equal opportunity, not equity. They had Trump back when Trump was good. Right. Trump was a Democrat too, right? It's like, so these people get rich enough as Democrats to become Republicans. It doesn't, you're not making any sense. You can keep repeating that stuff, but when you think about it for 5 seconds, it just doesn't work anymore. And now that you have so many people on the left trying to stop the pedophiles that have been caught coming into the country, like I said, the guy that was supposed to be vice president of the United States pardoned a pedophile, a guy that many times raped a 10-year-old girl. He gave him a pardon saying, I don't see an issue. I don't see a threat to our communities. That's protecting pedophiles, and it's on paper. The guy that was supposed to be the vice president. Yeah, no, who's protecting pedos? Moving to Cambodia. Probably lives in Cambodia. Probably don't live in America. Do you know the Amish saved America because the Democrats hate God and forgot the Amish exist? Yeah, and they wanted to tax them. They wanted to tax the Amish. They didn't want them to be able to sell raw milk and raw cheeses and whatnot, and they wanted to change the way they garden. They wanted them to start using GMO seeds, which means that they had to use Monsanto's or another government subsidy freaking seed company. No, so they're absolutely, the Democrats flipped what they were down with. They decided we've been in Congress long enough. It's time to get rich. That's what the Democrats did, and it's done. And anything that was left came over with the people that swapped back over to the right and started MAGA. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? You, yes, you. Stand still with it. Being a millionaire isn't that big of a deal in 2026. And what's cool is that there's so much more money available in our economy that if you really put your mind to it, you can become rich. But the problem is a lot of Democrat voters are the part of their identity is being broke. And that's a mindset. Changing that mindset changes your the way that you see money and investing. And I mean, it's like, and the Republicans have found over 150,000 children that were released in the United States without adult supervision. So yeah, I just don't see it anymore. Otherwise, it would have made 90 million mail-in ballots for the Amish. The Amish have a secret recipe for survival, right? The Democrats could have absolutely got the Amish vote, but they instead they just said, hey, we've been spending all of our money and we need more taxes. Let's tax the Amish, losing their vote. That's so insane. How are you? Catch my drift? I think pedos could get support from the left because they might become part of the LGBT or whatever. And the thing is now about the LGBTQ community is now there are gays for Trump and trans for Trump. So the whole, they don't like Trump is anti-trans or homophobic it just doesn't hold water anymore. You can repeat it as many times as you want, but you can't explain why there's gays for Trump and trans for Trump. It doesn't make sense anymore. Like, why are trans people leaving? And the LGBT community has a lot of bad actors in it, and they're not willing to call out the bad actors because they don't want to lose people. They don't want to. They don't want their political power to dwindle. Electricity for consumers in China is 8 cents a kilowatt hour, 18.3 cents kilowatt hour. Current trends hold 2030. China's 6 cents per kilowatt hour. US 21. Yeah, I think we're actually going to be doing a little bit better. I looked at the projections today on these new micro nuclear centers, and also we're reducing the percentage of coal we're burning, but increasing the amount of coal. So we're burning a lot more natural gas now, and we're standing up more power systems. The outlook for doubling the distance that an electric car can travel using the carbon silver batteries. They'll do the same weight and size battery will do twice the distance. So you're talking 600 to 800 miles per charge, and your per charge time reduces to 6 minutes. So that will do huge, but we're going to need nuclear. I'll be back. I'm going to the store, and I'm pretty sure if I get beat up, someone hears me listening to you. Labrado, all right, brother. 50 cents of the God particle won't even buy you a cup of coffee. CERN needs to be investigated. Yeah. Well, and now they're building a CERN 2.0. I'm glad I live in a constitutional republic, not a democracy. And that's another thing. People like don't understand that. They think that all of the fear mongering from the left. Listen, there's fear mongering on the left and right, but after yesterday or after the Fauci 111 times pleading the fifth, people realized just in the past day how much we were fooled, how much he was wrong, and what the entire world had to go through because of it, but also how rich he got. Now they have UFC like queer bash events for trans people. About time. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense anymore. It doesn't make sense if your own party can't handle their own finances, and the woman that ran Kamala Harris's campaign left, and the girl Jean-Pierre, the woman that was the mouthpiece for the Biden administration, as soon as he left office, she switched to independent. She left the Democrat Party. Corinne Jean-Pierre, she left the Democrat Party, became an independent right as soon as her job ended. That's crazy work there. Why would she do that? There's commercial Tesla fast chargers use 500 kilowatts. Really? That's a lot. So you want to say there are queers are trying to link Trump's I don't know exactly if that's what they're doing or not. Don't like LGBTQ or BLM or any similar movements. My aunt's from Africa, lives in America. She also doesn't like Black History Month. It's also being called a woman, not a black woman. Right? Well, and I think a lot of people are switching to that side. A lot of people realize that they keep getting ripped off. When the SPLC got busted funding white supremacist groups, when they got busted, a lot of people said, man, this was a scam. I never got a COVID vaccine. I almost lost my job over it. They wanted proof of vaccination, but when they got quiet, when they realized how many were unvaccinated, so why do we say black and white unnecessarily? Because listen, the left has always said that the right is trying to divide and conquer, but it's been the left the whole time. This is why they've divided everything. This is why it's not just the love community. It's the LGBTQIA++ community, because they want to separate everybody into separate tanks, but put them under one umbrella. So that means, but here's the problem with progressives. Everybody wants to be a progressive until the government and society has progressed to where you want it to be. But unfortunately, then you want to conserve that. But the problem is with that, the Progressive Party, that's its brand. It needs to progress past you. So now you're the ones that they don't want anymore. You're the ones that will be hurt, because then the things that they gave you will now be taken away from you. Yeoman's, yeah, it's cool. Yeah. What's up, man? What's up to Joey Two Bags? I got the funk, man. I got the junk, man. So you can call me junk, man. Wait, Trump loses 6 red seats in Florida. CNN reported 51% of Republicans are fed up. Also, the GOP's running out of money. 50 under split. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's just not true. And just today, I believe, yesterday or today, Elon Musk just restarted the America PAC, putting in supposedly $200 million more dollars into, and this is just for the midterms. This ain't for 2028. Yeah, and the Democrats are $2 million in debt. And listen, so the when Kamala lost, she owed about $19 million. How did not one leftist billionaire just write that check for $20 million to cancel it? And why are they still in debt? If they really get that much money from their supporters, how are they in debt $17.8 million or whatever? It doesn't make any sense. Where's that money? Where's it? So obviously people aren't being supportive. And what I think it is a lot of that support's going to the DSA. So a lot of the people that would have donated to the Democrat Party in solidarity are now are in standard for standard are now donating to the DSA. When will companies realize micromanaging has the opposite effect of productivity? Never. Never. Welcome back, Librado. Yeah, micromanaging sucks. Wait, reported Fauci received 1 million, but Trump has made billions from his presidency. Wait, reported Fauci received 1 million. How'd he buy his freaking multiple $1 million homes? I got money from Musk in Wisconsin. Damn. Me either. It's getting worse at my job. Joey Bag. Yeah, the DNC's HR department received a complaint that the head of the DNC got so mad at her when they were discussing the finances that he threw his phone at the desk. And he's saying, well, I tossed it on the desk with a little bit of it aggressively. But apparently it was aggressive enough that that person felt unsafe and went to HR about it. And so apparently it's really pushing buttons. And the thing is with the everything's going really, really well. And this is why I don't watch the news, because if like what you were just saying, John, it's obvious propaganda. And people will say, what do you watch Fox News? No. But do you believe Fox News can lie? Yeah. So they're the news. You believe that the news can lie. Why do you trust your news? Why do you, and that's what we won't get. Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Yeah. And now there's this guy today that came out. He's running against her. And he said that he's a Democrat running against her. And he said that she's got somebody going around to the old folks' homes, taking and changing ballots. So, and that's a Democrat saying, an anti-Trump Democrat saying Trump was right about the vote stealing. I think 52% is what they said. Well, it didn't say they want communism. They said that they were okay with socialism. They don't have a negative view of socialism, was the question that was asked. For my own opinions, to agree 100% on either side. Yeah. But the thing is, it's like the leftists were so vile and so aggressive for years that if you didn't agree with them online, you would just be inundated like it used to be if you said something a little bit or like to the right of Karl Marx, but still left, that you would have a dozen people come in, like they had paid people that would just come in and rip your stream to shreds. How come the smart people are so eccentric? Elon Musk can't design a good-looking truck. Albert Einstein didn't know how to use a hairbrush. So a very interesting thing about people like that. A lot of other people's brain energy and creativity and imagination goes into like doing their hair, doing their makeup, putting their Einstein spent 1 hour a week setting up all of his clothes on hangers for the week. So when he woke up, he just grabbed the next one in line and put those clothes on. So he didn't even use that brain power for his own credit. And I think that's really and I think the problem with the current communism, the current socialist party, is they think they have what it takes. Like when they say they're going to take over SpaceX and Tesla and everything, who's going to run it? I mean, if it wasn't done before, there wasn't anyone before Elon that could do it that successfully. Who do they think's going to take his place? Do you think they're going to keep him on there for $28 an hour? No, it's not the way it works. He'll leave the country. 70% of Democrats are okay with communism. 70. Well, that's a lot more than it said. I remember when a booing got at their convention in 2012. Yeah. George's in the park. Elizabeth Warren. All right, let's see. Let me see. I forgot what I was looking at. Like Elon, they were alerted on the design of the Cybertruck. That was the ugliest car ever. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was definitely ugly. Definitely ugly. Okay, let's go back to this. Let's see if we can find something fun to watch here. And they were selling it for like $100,000. Oh, what I forget about here too. Uh-oh. All right, let's watch something fun. Let's see what Tozy has
This
to say.
TikTok hypebeast streamer and co-owner of a famous LA sneaker store was just arrested and hit with federal charges for his alleged involvement in a $1 million cargo theft operation. Okay, so if he's actually charged here,
Einstein didn't wear
he
socks
could be
either?
sent to prison for up to 15 years,
I was just on another
and he can
channel,
be
the
hit with
guy
up to
wasn't even on your level.
$500,000 of fines.
Thank you, John Goldbonnet. They can try, but they'll never succeed. They can come here and hang out. I'll teach them a thing or two.
It's definitely not the ideal situation to be in, but how do you get here? So this indictment, I mean, it kind of just seems like something out of a heist movie. Like, we've got Nike employees apparently involved in the inside, multiple shipments of expensive shoes being diverted, and multiple other resellers named as well, for a grand total of 12 people indicted. So why is this newsworthy besides, I guess, it being, you know, a massive alleged theft ring of Nike sneakers? Well, one of the people named was the co-owner of a famous LA sneaker store called Cool Kicks. And you guys might remember that I actually covered the story a while ago when a different one of the owners, Adil Shams, was arrested and had their warehouse raided for allegedly purchasing stolen Nike products.
And I got a higher resolution. I went from this 1080p camera to this 4K camera, so you figured I would look older. I every morning I take in my coffee, I take coffee, creatine, collagen, and cocoa. Cocoa has stem cell boosting benefits. Creatine, obviously creatine, and collagen, obviously collagen. And I don't know, I think it's doing pretty good. I think I feel younger. It's oddly enough, a lot of energy. Thank you, Snuffles. I fell first, 110th grade. If you want to go further, you gotta go further. You gotta figure out what's beyond that. Yeah, right. I'm regressing in age.
So yeah, definitely not a great year for them so far. And while the stolen Nike products might lead you to believe that, hey, this is a follow-up story on that, no, this is actually a whole different owner being hit with different charges. So this time, it was actually Barakat Abraham, a 39-year-old who is described as the co-founder and co-owner of Cool Kicks. Birds of a feather, was that saying birds of a feather flock together? I don't know, but apparently birds of a feather bond together and start Nike hype.
I think this is the top, brother. I think this is where education has come to rest. Do you rub it on your skin? No, I put it in my coffee as I'll. She puts the lotion on her skin. Look in the basket again. She gets the water again. Or eternity. Put a sample for his product. Ponder. Yeah, I take it and I drink it coffee. I take type 1 and type 3, hydrolyzed type 1 and type 3, hydrolyzed collagen. Bovine, baby.
Beast reseller stores, and then they stream it on TikTok. Awesome. Allegedly, this is all alleged. No one's been found guilty in a court of law yet.
Is that a Michelob hat?
My lawyer's in the background going, I'm just saying it's quite the ironic coincidence that you have two stolen Nike scandals this close together coming out of the same company. And as of right now, it seems like Barakat is the only Cool Kicks employee involved in this.
Yeah, there's still hype beasts.
Bombshell. But he's one of 12 people accused in stealing over $2 million worth of Nike shoes from the company's North American Logistics Center in Memphis, Tennessee. And apparently this investigation has been going on for years, with the alleged operation being said to have spanned from 2021 until 2024. Nothing's happened yet, so
I met Brad Pitt in
and
real
that
life.
does make me wonder, did they think they were going to get away with it, or did they know at some point their day was coming? He was probably stressing when the other co-founder got raided a while back. He was like, uh-oh, it's about me, and then it wasn't about him, and he was probably like, phew, but now it's about him. Well, regardless, around 9 months ago, we covered Cool Kicks when co-owner Adil Shams was arrested during a live stream for allegedly selling stolen Nike products. And at the time, he maintained his innocence and stated that the products were purchased in good faith. And if they were stolen, he and his staff had no idea. Which, I mean, honestly, is fair. you can't exactly trace the origin of every item when you're reselling shoes. They are purchasing items off of random people in the store, and they're buying out strangers as collections, so I bet their biggest concern at this point is making sure the items are real or not where they're from. So whatever the actual case may have been to that story, a deal was ultimately released, and he was back to his Whatnot live streams pretty quickly. And he's currently maintaining kind of a low profile on social media compared to before, but he posted on his Instagram back in May, so I think it's safe to assume that he didn't actually face any real consequences that we know of yet. Who knows? There might still be an ongoing case. But what is important that you guys do is you can't confuse the two co-owners, because while it does sound bad put together, like all jokes aside, there is a chance that Adil and the other Cool Kicks employees had no idea what was going on. So with that disclaimer out of the way, let's look at what these sneakerheads did to land themselves in extreme hot water. But real quick,
I thought you meant A-list, like an A-lister, a lost man that runs to find what he's looking for.
Brokers make billions of dollars selling your information to spammers, scammers, and stalkers. And most services just remove your data after it's already out there, but the problem is you keep on creating new vulnerabilities every time you sign up for anything new, which is why I added Cloak to my data protection arsenal.
I used to what this band I was in back in the day, my guitar player Ruben Gonzalez Arizmendi, we would go to Ocean City, Maryland on the boardwalk and get on it cost $1 to get on the bus for the whole day. So we would get on the bus with his acoustic guitar. We would do some of our originals, and we would do some U2 songs like Desire and still haven't found what I'm looking for. Yeah, Taz, he's awesome, brother.
.com/Tozy and get a free scan to see if your social security number or any other personal information is currently out there for sale. And if you use my link that you'll find at the top of the description down below, you'll get 30% off of any plan. But without further ado, let's continue the video. So on May 21st, 2026, a federal grand jury returned an indictment charging 12 individuals with conspiracy to commit interstate transportation of stolen property, and one with interstate transportation of stolen property. Stolen Nike property, that is. And like I said earlier, the story of this indictment reads like a story of a heist movie or something like that, and the way they were caught is honestly just even wilder. So apparently, in the beginning of 2021, several employees at Nike's North American Logistics Center in Memphis, Tennessee, helped locate high-value products in the warehouse. And
nowhere near as cool as my wackadoo hat. Here, let's just do that real quick. Let's just do 110thgrade.com. Bam. And bam. Wackadoo. Nice. Or dun 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 dun, the wackadoo shirt. I said nothing. You didn't say nothing. Opa. All right, let's get back to this. Bam.
Reroute them using fraudulent shipping labels. And where were they being routed to?
His
to the
own place.
resellers, of course, because, you know, they could charge like 10x in some cases of what the Nike retail stores were retailing these shoes for. And of course, Abraham is one of them. And it's said that this logistics center had some of the most valuable items Nike carried.
Those audit warriors.
If you know anything about sneaker culture, you know there are
Vancouver had a good talk show host back in the 1970s. His name was Pat Burns. Yeah, I'll have to look him up. Remind me, Bernie. How's the merch sales? I'm doing pretty good. I mean, not super good. I make about $100 a month off of it, which is about I make about $3 a sale, a shirt or a hat. Nice. Are you the scientist from Independence Day? No. Data. What up, Last Surgic?
Certain pairs that can resell for thousands of dollars each. Yeah, apparently those thermals go for like $1,200 in StockX right now.
The new shoes, the hottest shoes of the year. Beautiful shoe. Right now they're very cheap. I think these are gonna be above $1,000 within 12 months. It's just a beautiful shoe. Damn. So remember when you're adding these shoes, this goes for $1,200 on StockX. Banger.
I feel like sneaker culture, for the most part, has definitely cooled down a bit. Sure, I mean, certain pairs will still go for a lot of money, but it's nothing like it used to be back in like 2017.
I don't think people realize or have ever looked into, because they never put it on the news, but there were people that were using food stamp readers, like the swipe boxes you use for EBT, to sell not non-food items like cigarettes and shoes and stuff. So people would be rerouting that stuff through to use to them. What up, B2B? Yeah, it was Data. I remember who it was. Scientist from Independence Day. Yeah, Data. Yeah, I remember. He's the guy that played Data on Star Trek The Next Generation. Hey! Someone just ordered something. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Bam! I don't know if you heard the ding in the background. I whack a new cap on the way. Nice. That's my bruh. Yep. Yeah, good. Perfect timing.
2018, 2019, maybe early pandemic as well. I feel like a lot of people who are waiting up all night to cash in on these like Nike drops just kind of moved on to either farming and scalping tickets, or I guess real estate or watches. I actually watches is kind of what the culture has moved into, especially with the Royal Oak pop that we saw a few months ago that was also a disaster. I was actually walking down Karl Johan in Oslo. I think it was like the 15th of May or something like that. And I walked past the Swatch store, and at first I didn't even realize it was the Swatch store, but you just had a whole line of kids or teenagers, probably like, I don't know, 17 to 21 year olds. So not only teenagers, but young adults and teenagers. And they were camping out. And I was like, why is everyone camping out? And I realized, oh, this is for the AP Royal Oak Swatch drop. I haven't seen a bunch of people camping outside of any store since what, 2016, 2017 Supreme drops. So yeah, no, I actually go back and say, yeah, it seems like this.
You know, when people talk about how bad the economy is, and then you see like how much sales like DoorDash and how many people are still doing Uber and Lyft, and I understand you got to do that to get to and from work, but like just like the if you have 3 or 4 friends on the same block that are all taking Lyft, why would you not just group your money together and work together to get a car that you share? All right. I got my wackadoo cap. Just wait a few business days. There you go, brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate the support. My ass is getting broke. Thank you, Crying Fish, brother.
Hypebeast culture just kind of like moved into watches. But yeah, going back to the Nike shoes, at the time, I mean, they could retail for, I don't know, around $200, or you could buy them from a reseller for like $1,000 or something like that. Meaning one shipping box filled with the right sneakers could be worth 5 or even 6 times, or in some cases 10 times on the resale market. So really the scheme itself is pretty simple. So allegedly the Nike employees would steal blank Nike shipping labels and print their own UPS labels on them using an account associated to Abraham and Cool Kicks. Then they just slap them on boxes of expensive shoes and ship them out with everything else.
The Cool Kicks owner, according to the feds, allegedly worked with another guy here in Los Angeles to steal blank shipping labels from a Nike warehouse, a distribution warehouse in Memphis. I'm told by the LAPD detective who handled this case that this warehouse in Memphis had some of the most high-end shoes that Nike can sell. So once they get the blank slips, the blank packing slips from the warehouse, and they come back here, Cool Kicks comes into play according to investigators because Cool Kicks has a valid UPS account and can make these shipping labels. So they get the blank shipping labels from Nike, they put the bogus addresses on them allegedly here from Cool Kicks, and then they send those shipping labels back to the employees who are working with everybody according to the feds at Nike, and then those Nike employees allegedly slip the bogus packing slips on these cartons of shoes as they are about to leave and be distributed. So instead of being distributed to the places that
you don't think they don't, that the place that they were supposed to go wouldn't notice when $1 million worth of shoes don't show up?
They should go. They get distributed to the bad actors.
You know what?
According to
I can see how people feel that, like looking at our government, the right and the left, the people just don't go to jail for crime, and then like with how like so much crime, like shoplifting and stuff has been lowered to like below $950, you just get a freaking slap on the wrist and whatnot. And these people are like, oh, everybody else gets away with it. But hey, once you go over $1 million, man, they're going to come for you. And the feds are going to come for you. Now, what they'll have to do is either pay it back or go to jail. Yeah, right. If they're not paying their taxes, absolutely. And I think that's a big thing with a lot of this theft is if people spend that money and register like they pay. I think a lot of the times it's the taxes. That's the thing. Absolutely, the IRS and the Fed.
To the feds, and according to the feds, at least one of the bad actors was the Cool Kicks co-owner.
And yeah, I guess that was the scheme. How did you not think you were going to get caught?
Right.
But regardless, everything was fine until it wasn't. Because in 2024, there was a snowstorm that hit Memphis, and all the shipments stopped. And this backup caused these boxes with fraudulent labels to sit in the warehouse for way longer than normal, and allowed a very observant Nike employee to notice that some of these labels didn't look right. So the employee notified someone higher up, and this resulted in authorities actually slipping a tracking device in one of these shipments and followed it until they could found one of their culprits.
According to the detective, in Memphis, there was a really bad snowstorm, and that halted all the shipments and allowed these bogus shipping labels to remain on these items for longer than they normally would, and it caught the attention of a very observant Nike employee who notified their supervisors. They then called an LAPD detective here, who has worked with them on other cases, put a tracker in those shipments, let them go on their way, and then allegedly caught everyone in the act. Now, all 12 of these people facing federal charges.
See, kind of sounds like a movie. But after that, I would only assume that the people who were caught started ratting on their co-conspirators, and in total, 12 people were charged in relation to this. And as usual, Cool Kicks released a quick statement saying that, hey, they had no involvement or knowledge of this scheme going on, and they just continued with business as usual. And in their statement, they say that Abraham denies the charges, and Cool Kicks had no allegations of wrongdoing. And they also mentioned that they apparently terminated his relationship with the company. And I mean, that does make it seem like he worked alone, because if Cool Kids had any knowledge of this or let it happen, they would be risking, you know, losing their entire empire if they were caught. Or is this a move to save face? I don't know. Regardless, though, if they were involved and tried to pass it off publicly like they weren't.
If you're in any of those games, any of those businesses, you know how much things are worth and how much they can like how much they cost, what the supply, what the demand is, and what the value is, the purchase value and the resale value. And when millions of dollars of things start coming in and don't leave your account, like, so they didn't pay for these things. So if you didn't pay $1 million and $1 million worth of stuff shows up, you know that. You know that you didn't pay the warehouse $1 million to send you $1 million worth of stuff. You didn't pay anything, and there's $1 million worth of stuff shows up. And, you know, it's not like it's just 2 pairs of shoes. It's hundreds of pairs of shoes. And yeah, everybody knew it, straight up and down.
It would, at the end of the day, make things a whole lot worse for them. As for Abraham, though, he's currently facing conspiracy, aiding and abetting, and interstate transportation of stolen property. If convicted, he could face up to 15 years in federal prison.
Yeah.
Fines
well,
of up
that whole hype beast stuff, they get lots of famous people. They want to be, you know, especially if they haven't been on the news or on TV or radio for a while. They go show up. These guys got famous TikTok accounts and whatnot, and you want to be in front of a few million people. All you gotta do when you're buying shoes anyway.
To $500,000 and as many as 3 years in supervised release. So, I mean, hey, it's safe to say that's quite the fall from grace. Like, you know, you're going from part owner of a massive sneaker reseller to facing federal charges. So now I guess Cool Kicks is down another owner, and the other one, Adil, he still keeps his distance from all their other content, minus the live streams, because it seems like he's still live streaming. But it's overall a pretty big switch up from their content from a few years ago that essentially revolved around Adil and Abraham buying sneakers and rubbing elbows with celebrities and influencers. But now the faces on their YouTube and Instagram are managers and store staff instead of the actual owners. But currently it appears that the 12 individuals, including Abraham, will be in front of a district judge on August 12th. So I guess we just kind of have to wait around and see what happens then. But regardless, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.
Peace, brother. Peace, brother. Man, what a frickin', you know... You got unfortunate, man. Unfortunate. And I think this happens a lot when people deal with one thing. Like if you're not going to diversify away from just sneakers. Sneakers, guilty as charged. What up, Trey? Shut up, bro. I love it, Tozy. Super cool. So these hype beasts, Nike resellers in LA apparently did some backroom deal with an employee at a Nike warehouse to put shipping labels over top of the other shipping labels so that millions of dollars, or at least $1 million worth of shoes, got shipped to these guys rather than where they were supposed to go. Anyway, so they had somebody on the inside at the Nike warehouse swapping out the shipping labels. Wackadoo. Some of those sneakers are upward of 30 grand. And you know, and a wackadoo hat's only $16 or $20, something like that. I think it's like $16.99. Get you what? All right, let's see. Georgia lawyer accused of smuggling drugs inside a jail. Let's see. That's about my
Turning
area.
to this morning's Newsmax crime report, Georgia.
I just see that video, and dude was selling in his store. Bought, popular on TikTok. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it.
Criminal defense attorney now faces criminal charges himself this morning, accused of using his law license to smuggle drugs into the county jail.
Not a good idea. Prosecutors say he was paid to deliver his own client paper soaked in a synthetic drug, which was then sold to other inmates. Newsmax crime correspondent Jason Matera has this story, Jason.
Yeah, Mark Charla, a defense attorney is supposed to keep his client out of trouble,
$2 million
not allegedly
worth of
become
shoes.
his
Some of the shoes
drug mule.
But
investigators say that is exactly what happened.
Right. Like, so what, I mean, their shoes were free. So whatever the Nike employee got per pair or whatever. Yeah. So whatever. And crazy.
And here, Joseph Anfield L. There he is. He's a 47-year-old defense attorney with a practice in Cobb County, just outside of Atlanta.
Yeah,
authorities say he cleared jail screening like any other lawyer does, carrying a manila envelope filled with paperwork for his client. Except prosecutors say that the paperwork was itself the contraband.
A very vigilant and observant deputy that was assigned to the jail on that day observed that the attorney left without that paperwork that he had originally brought in.
That observation sparked a narcotics investigation, according to the multi-count indictment returned on July 9th. The client Anfield L. kept visiting was allegedly running a drug ring from inside the county jail.
Jeez,
officials say the envelope contained legal documents
Got
and
a little
Muslim
card to go with that.
printed on paper soaked in a synthetic drug called K2. Colonel Ryan Mailing with the Cobb County Sheriff's Office says
people were also complaining about that Nike executive son was getting shoes before release because most likely getting them from the employees from the store that a month before.
The drug is nearly impossible to detect through normal screening methods, including canine units.
There is no indication based on the color of the paper, the smell of the paper, that there is any substance associated with that.
Court documents allege that the criminal defender, now turned criminal defendant, was paid
Well, K2 is a vitamin. It is a vitamin. I don't have the bottle here, but yeah, there is a vitamin called K2. This is a completely different K2.
$300 per trip to deliver the K2 soaked correspondence. Once inside, inmates allegedly paid for the paper through apps like Apple Pay, then rolled it up and smoked it for a THC-like high, but one that authorities say is far more dangerous.
It can cause extreme psychosis if individuals consume it or consume too much of it. It can cause internal.
And this is what I think a lot of people are getting at smoke shops and stuff too. I think you're getting a lot of, because you can't smell it or you know, like that, and you spray it on like really bad weed and make it better weed, or like do you remember that, like the stuff? Well, I mean, you guys might not know, but the stuff they use in the movie industry, the fake weed. It's another, like, it's a non-THC producing plant, but it looks like bud, and then they just spray it with this stuff, and how you know. And then people are going into psychosis and whatnot. My aunt works in Frito-Lay. I go to the employee store there a few times a month. You can get unreleased flavors from the employee store a month or two for you. There you go. Get that Frito-Lay. Meanwhile, our boy Rich is running a drug ring too with his merch site. Love me some methylcobalamin pills. K2 is bad for you. It makes you eat someone's face. Jesus Christ.
Bleeding. It can cause neurological effects. All of the jurisdictions and correctional institutes in our area and across the nation are dealing with this issue.
I live in a legal state, only buy from a legal dispensary.
Cobb County prosecutors say the scheme ran for at least 9 months. 4 people have been indicted on state RICO charges in connection with the alleged.
So back in the day, they used to put tabs of acid under the stamps. So you would just wipe, like on a stamp, you would just wet the 4 edges of the stamp, or you would put a drop on the stamp. So when people would get it, they could rip the stamp up into smaller pieces. And I'm at the point in my life where I'm not actively searching out a woman. However, if a beautiful woman with a car of the future, smells like flowers, comes along and doesn't do drugs, you might be willing to date. Yeah. Don't go looking for women. When you go looking for women, you get women like the ones you found. Yeah, you wait till they find you, and they're not on drugs, and they have jobs, and their life's going somewhere, or else they'll derail yours.
Smuggling operation, including Infidel, who is representing himself and now gets to put those criminal defense skills to the test.
Jason,
Nice.
can we ask why inmates are you?
Very, very rarely throughout my life. Yeah, no, I was never a pothead, not like my brother and sister. None will ever find me. I'm telling you. You have, supposedly it's from the Russians and the Chinese. Like, why on the internet you have so much like MGTOW, red pill stuff for like men staying away from women, and then a bunch of like feminist, anti-man type stuff to keep women away from men. Well, when that doesn't happen, there's no babies that get made, right? So supposedly that's where this funding and stuff comes from for a lot of this. But yeah, you got to be smart about it. You just got to be smart about it. But what's smart? The smart thing is that you should be on a path to some sort of success in your life, whatever you call successful for your life, what you want your life to be. And then in that, within what you're doing to become successful in your own life, however many years that takes, and whatever hobbies and stuff that you do to help get into that path, you'll meet somebody that's also on that path. That's like, hey, how about I do the paperwork and you do the grunt work, and we have children and have a beautiful life and make a bunch of money together. Yeah, cool. Let's do that. Not, oh, she's so freaking hot, dude. All of my friends banged her, and I think I want to bang her. Dude. Nothing wrong with being a pothead. I love to roll up, but I'm 6 months clean. Weed and wine. They stay home 90% of the time, yeah. Georgie loves it. Brado loves it right now.
Using Apple Pay?
Yeah,
that's
that would
crazy.
be my next question. Yeah, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed here. All right.
They do have access. These inmates do have access. They either smuggle in phones. They have access to iPads. It's actually pretty common in jail and prisons.
Yet all those things can be tracked, which is what happened here, which is why he was okay. Great. Jason, thank you.
It's so dumb. You try to be the man your creator designed you to be. It will settle for the rest. A beautiful woman can be a deception, a lie. She might be a nightmare. Be who you were born to be. Know what your creator made you to be. That's right. That's right. And understand, you have to have a framework for your life, how you want your life to turn out, and what you think the best ways to go about that. What worked in history the best? What was the best advice that was ever written, or the best way to live your life? Find that, study it. Understand that's like, you have so many. The reason that our politicians do so good is because you got such a lost population that's just waiting for the information on what to do from their government, and it's not the way to live. Yep, the back pocket. They keep it in their back pocket. Stuff gets thrown all over the wall. Pretty crazy how fast we'd spread through America. It's mostly legalization. Yep, didn't take long at all. Yeah, right. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And it's like, so people are in jail getting, partying it up all the time. And it's just like, and this, did he say that was a jail or a prison? This was a jail. So it's not even long term. The people are going to get caught and then have to spend more time in jail. It seemed like, I think a lot of times, like, they do that if like somebody's been in prison for a couple of years and they're about to get out, and the people in jail know they can get $80,000-$90,000 a year from the government to keep these people in jail. And then like they can have somebody be like, hey man, you want to freaking get stoned? You want to blah, blah, blah. And then you have a freaking, you have a guard bring it in for him. And when the person's using it, another guard busts him and now they get another charge. They stay in jail for a couple more years. Yeah, I talk good about legally, I'm guessing, like dispensaries and stuff going up. And the fact that it was better quality before the dispensary, crackadoodle, you crack it, cockadookie, yeah. And I tell you another thing. I think a lot of people, a lot of the old school, like cartel side weed sellers ended up making a lot more money because the thing is a lot of people like the street weed better and it's cheaper. So yeah, like they say, okay, well, weed's legal. It's like alcohol now. So I guess smoking weed's not that bad. So I'll start smoking weed. And then you start talking to people. You're like, oh, I get it from this guy down the street. And it's freaking a third of the price. And then it still ends up good. So now it becomes more socially accepted, which means more people end up doing it. And then more people end up, by percentage, end up buying it off the street. One of my problems, I believe the lies women tell me over and over again. I fall for the stripper types every single time. Yeah, that's your fault. That's your fault. First of all, they're strippers. Remember, broken people break people. They should see these massive grow operations the Mexican cartels running into California. Guys, that's what I heard about. Like Northern California, they've got like a big ass operation that the police don't even go into. The West is gone. If you're white, if you're white only community and give it a rest. If you're a white only community, give it a rest. The best case scenario you do is be around mental patients. Okay. Now you don't want to be in jail. I'd rather be scared from Tom Dubois. I mean, at some point, weed was everywhere. People grew it in ancient cultures at times until Nixon decided to give people life sentences for it. I got some cannabis plants that absolutely took off. Yep, 3 strikes law, right? Wrong. Got 4 going in Maryland legally. Yeah, that's what that. So me and my brother, the entire basement of we had a row home in Baltimore, off of Kane Street. And we had a bunch of good going there. 16's legal? Oh, illegally. Gotcha. Like, I can't count. Oh, super. The weed they have today in the shops are not naturally just strong, makes you drool. And that's what I'm saying. I think, and like, I think people spray it with wackadoo stuff. Like they're talking about K2 here on paper and it doesn't taste or smell like anything. So if you know, and people do a lot of stuff. I was telling you about the cartel operations in public, like Yosemite. Yeah, I think I do remember you saying something like that. Illegal marijuana growth, Yosemite. Illegal marijuana involves hidden cartel-run grow sites, severe environmental damage, and strict federal enforcement. Cartel is pushing fentanyl,
thousands
cocaine,
of illegal
bodies.
marijuana
Right.
plants.
I was about to say, apparently they make more money off of human trafficking than drugs. And I also heard that now down in like Colombia and stuff, they've got illegal gold mining, and they make like a huge amount of their money off of not legal gold mining. Now, Washington State, one of the states legalized to have dispensaries. Same in Oregon, they can get a gram of weed for $3. Pre-bowls for $1 to $4. Pre-rolls for $4 for good weed too. I don't get red eyes and giggle anymore. It's different now. A lot of people say that. Look up the California. Yes, this is the one in Yosemite. We'll look out. Weed is cheap here. I'm not renting anybody sell weed here since dispensaries.
Were removed from a California national park, and it's far from the first time. The National Park Service says rangers removed more than 2,000 marijuana plants along with a gun, hazardous chemicals, and thousands of pounds of trash. The Park Service says rangers found this site last year but couldn't rehabilitate it until this year because of the chemicals.
Yeah, I agree. And not just that, like also we know how great the fiber is too. Hemp paper, hemp fiber, hemp cloth, it's all very, very good stuff. A lot of sailcloth is still hemp cloth.
So far, no arrests have been made, but the investigation continues. The National Park Service sent a statement to Straight Arrow News saying, quote,
yeah, we don't need
illegal marijuana cultivation on public lands is a serious crime that threatens wildlife, water quality, and visitor safety. It's our only duty as humans to plant native plants here.
Together with law
enforcement partners.
That's what I do here. I've got lots of native plants. I got 2 greenhouses and I've got a little farm. Even cars to plant cars.
Are stepping up efforts to detect and dismantle these criminal operations, sending a clear message that illegal activity will not be tolerated on our public lands. Officials say these kinds of grows can have a major impact on the surrounding ecosystem. Some of those concerns include water usage, clearing of natural vegetation, and even poaching. Officials say in the last 20 years, law enforcement has removed nearly 300.
So hemp oil, yes, hemp oil can be used. It can replace diesel. I mean, it's a lot of freaking hemp oil for the amount of diesel we consume, but yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good as a lubricant too. A lot of stuff comes from that. I think one of the reasons hemp has really got pushed back against was the petrol industry. They wanted to be able to make all the synthetic fibers, nylon, vinyl, and whatnot. And they wanted to make all the lubricants and stuff for everything. So we use petrochemicals when we absolutely could have used big ass fields of weed all over the place. Absolutely. And it could have done could have done a lot of great for us. But same thing with the medical industry. The medical industry, which is also the pharmaceutical industry, which is also the petrochemical industry. They 99.9% of all medications for prescription come from petrochemicals. So that's where they want everything to come from. So everything goes back down to the main oil providers, crude oil providers. And anything that jeopardized their wealth, they got legalized. And I think they used a lot of wackadoo reasons for it and stuff, but they just didn't want anything up against their industry. Can't tell me the CIA is the ones who taught the cartel how to make hardcore drugs. I could easily be convinced of that. If I had a friend who didn't like your channel, I would defriend them. It's a good idea there, Georgie. Thank you. You'll have to tell me the story of someone I went to pick up an illegal in Mexico, but came back because the dude didn't show up in time? Wow. That's right. JP Morgan. Hemp makes clothes out. Yeah. I used to have a kick-ass hemp shirt. It was like I had a hemp shirt, I had a hemp hoodie, I had a tie-dye when I got one. I used to go to the Dead concerts in RFK Stadium down in D.C. You should run out of some Ligroin in your car for gas. Banking branching systems is a fruit of poisonous tree of good and evil. Have you all read The Fruit of a Poisonous Tree? I have not read it. But yeah, I agree, and I agree that one of the big things that whacked it out was that the fractional reserve, which allowed them not to have to hold nearly as much money. And I will say that we should let failing businesses fail. We should not have allowed them to run buck wild with the checkbook, then fail so spectacularly and say things like they're too big to fail. That's just like, okay, we can just be as absolutely maniacal with our investments, and yeah, so stupid.
100,000 marijuana plants with a value of $850 million from Sequoia and nearby Kings Canyon National Park. For Straight Arrow News, I'm Lauren Keenan.
Is that 1,000 plants for $850 million? Did I miss that? Hold on.
100,000 marijuana plants. Will say in the last 20 years, law enforcement has removed nearly 300,000 marijuana plants with a value of $850 million from Sequoia and nearby Kings Canyon.
So that same area that they ripped all that down, if that could have added almost $1 billion to the industry had it been legal farmed. So stupid. Yeah, you grow up way more hemp, less water, same usage compared to cotton. Right, and I think hemp gives back to the land, kind of like how like it takes hydrogen out of the air and puts it back into the soil, kind of like how chickpeas does. So chickpeas, like if you grow fruits and vegetables and whatnot, and you start to drain the soil from its nutrients, you can grow a crop of chickpea, and chickpea does the opposite. It takes the hydrogen out of the air into the ground rather than out of the ground and into the fruit and vegetable. So it actually restructures your ground so you can plant again on top of it. You can't even concrete isolation material make more stuff. Yeah, you could use it as like for fiberglass fiber type stuff. Ahoy, Rich and Company. I was educating my sister today on the Richard vitamin do's and don'ts. I see limitation being plenty. Your best mind research. Thank you, John. Good to hear you. She's getting on board. Did you know that linguine oil is supposedly what Bertha Benz used in the car that drove 66 miles, supposedly fixed it with a hat pin in her cloth girder, which I believe? I have no idea. I haven't heard that. Yes, crop rotation, brother. Right. Very important. And it's not regularly used. And why don't they promote it? Because the petrochemical industry sells the fertilizer. So they're let's take this out of the general education, and so they say, hey, when you can't grow shit in your land anymore, buy a bunch of fertilizer, rather than just plants. Oh, it pisses me off. Our education system needs to be reorganized, and I definitely want to be part of it.
In national parks. For Shade Arrow News, I'm Lauren Keenan.
Thank you, Laura Keenan. They always jack up the price to mean nitrogen, and you meant nitrogen. Yeah, I meant nitrogen. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I can't even believe I said hydrogen. Crazy. Yeah, nitrogen. Definitely nitrogen. Adult store raid? No way. All right, let's keep going with this stuff. Somebody robbed an adult store?
8 people are facing charges in connection to a federal sex trafficking investigation. Hello, everybody.
Okay,
I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Egan. It's 9 o'clock.
Right? Yeah, I have Myers lemon and lime trees. I'm not using synthetic fertilizer. No. I take all of my kitchen scraps. I have this huge 16-foot by 16-foot area that I've got huge pile of compost, and whenever it's nice and black, I move it off to the side, and then I like chip and shred paper and kitchen scraps and any wood and whatnot, and keep my own. So I got lots of really fertile soil. Reserved room with a local motel with a jacuzzi in it for a couple of days. On the 3rd for myself. Yeah, natural, but you don't use poop. Liquid that was petroleum-based solvent that they would use for gas or early edges like beds would top off and buy from pharmacies. You just let water rip. That's good.
It comes months after investigators were spotted raiding the Paris adult bookstore on Harry Hines in Dallas. The Justice Department says that store hosted illegal activities in the back and is connected to at least one death. Fox 4's David Santendry has more from investigators tonight. David.
Hey, Stephen, Heather. Yeah, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security calls Paris Adult Bookstore the longest-running commercial sex operation in North Texas.
Right now, I'm on call with my manager right now. You told me we're not doing interviews, no nothing like that.
No answers from Paris Adult Bookstore along Harry Hines Boulevard in Northwest Dallas.
Looking for yellow pants.
The store labeled a sex trafficking front by federal investigators.
The front of the store did sell novelty items, but the back...
I was reading the dust from Sahara Desert blows over Atlantic, replenishes phosphorus and rainforest soil. If you did constant rain, would strip the vital nutrients off the plant life. Dust and aerosolized, not vapors. I can't remember the thing. Aerosolized minerals and whatnot from like the ocean crashing against rocks also helps replenish in those locales. All drug raids, street pricing 5 to 10 times reality. Yeah, I think that sex sells, and freaking big numbers sell. When you're like, oh, it's like clickbait. It's a long way for the dust to travel. Yeah. Well, I mean, atomic dust does the same stuff. Like atomic fallout dust, it floats around the atmosphere. When it ends up in a higher atmosphere, you have just like how hail falls into very small, and then it blows back up, and it gets another layer, and it keeps in this like chimney cycle. How America poisoned you through food, etc., and then treat you through medicine to cure. Right, that come from the same companies. It's a brilliant, freaking evil marketing scheme. They discovered something in the back, Randy.
Consisted of locked hallways and rentable rooms used to facilitate commercial sex acts and human trafficking.
The feds say a husband and wife, Montre Lamont Mason and Eileen Mason, managed the adult bookstore. Montre Traylyn Love Mason and Aaron Tyrone Betford worked as cashiers. Crescenda Doss, a security guard. This group and several others now federally indicted in an alleged conspiracy to commit sex trafficking.
We launched this initiative because parts of Northwest Dallas had become a corridor of criminal activity.
An example in
corridor of criminal activity. Is that the corridor in the back of the building? They're just using the prices for highest place in the area for New York or LA. Oh, like where they would get the most for. Like, hey, if we were selling this freaking dime of dope in LA, we'd get $40 for it. Too bad Mitch McConnell didn't live to see this video. Did you watch I watched Dog the Bounty Hunter. Oh, Beth Leland and the girl. I watched Dog the Bounty Hunter. I don't think I recall the Beth Leland thing. I could only find K2 soft gels today. Should I take more to make up for the negatives? No, not necessarily. No. K2. I take 250 micrograms a day when I take my D3. Plus the milk I get is $16. Yeah, I was looking at the milk I gets 10 for a gallon, but this it looks like in Florida it's like $18.99 for a gallon. We have no idea if he's dead or not. Who knows? Do you recall the last time you lit one rip? I think it was like 1977. Gonna go to bed. I have to get a rest stream right there. All right, Unimage brother. Have a good night, my friend. Thank you for swinging through. Hit the like button on your way out.
In 2023, 3 juvenile females were trafficked at Paris.
Right. That's why one-a-days are not good for you, because you can't process all of them at the same time. Your gut microbiome, you only have so much mucosa in your intestines, and you can't overflow that with a bunch of wackadoo. You need different fat absorptions, and you have different transports that have to get it across the gut wall, and it's got to be. That's why it's. One-a-days seem like such a good thing, but this is why your pee turns yellow with a lot of one-a-days, because it doesn't enter into your body. It just ends up getting washed right out. Fertilizer, nitrogen, phosphate, potassium, sometimes carbon, magnesium, and other minerals. Yeah, depends what the ground needs, what the crop needs, and what the ground tests at, yeah.
According to the indictment, last year...
Yeah, we watched a video on him the other day getting locked up. Or still in jail or whatever. Mitch is having a hard time eating his veggies. Also couldn't find the good collagen today either. Got these gummies instead. Never plan ahead, right? Yeah. Hey, you can still go to my website and get them off of Amazon. Same stuff that I use. If you're interested, give me 25 cents. Yeah, definitely a clown. 10 million strong and growing.
A driver named Nassan Hazard was sentenced to life in prison for kidnapping a sex worker from Paris's parking lot and murdering her.
Human trafficking is not a victimless crime. It destroys families.
Back in February, Fox 4 was on scene as Homeland Security, the IRS, and Dallas Police Department raided Paris.
Now we know why.
Details were under wraps until Tuesday.
Cash deposits were commingled with legitimate business income. The proceeds were allegedly used to pay a security guard company to control the Johns and commercial sex workers. This ensured there were no altercations or disturbances that may attract the attention of law enforcement.
That's usually how this story plays out. We see that all the time. There's an ecosystem that's in place. You'll see an adult bookstore, you may see a motel, you may see a strip club.
Bianca Davis says her anti-trafficking nonprofit, New Friends, New Life, helps about 350 women or girls each year. And two-thirds report being trafficked at strip clubs or
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Oriented businesses like Paris.
Sometimes when they're shut down, they just pop up in other places. So I think the challenge for the police department and the city officials will be to make sure that they can't sneak in again under the guise of a legitimate business and start this.
It says freaking on the front of the building that it's a sex shop. Understood. How much more difficult? I guess you absolutely need. But if it's the same people doing the same thing over and over again, how much more difficult can it be to, like, they'll send freaking 17-year-olds in or 20-year-olds into liquor stores to buy beer, to bust liquor stores. Why wouldn't they just send in some freaking hobo to say, you know, to be like, hey, can I kiss a girl? You know, like, why not set up stings? What do you think of mass illegal immigration that's happening in Spain? Actually, we just watched a video on that earlier on the stream, dude. It's pretty crazy. I think it's still queued up here. Yeah, here it is right here. Yeah, here it is right here. When the soil doesn't have iodine, everybody gets goiters. Yep. Thank you, Rand. I tried my best, brother. I tried my best. Yeah, and actually, I don't think I try for some reason. I think it just happens that people tell me I'm funny. I think that's the weirdest thing, because I don't think I could write a comedy. Yeah, but this is crazy. It's crazy to see them running like it's like an invasion. Like it's not just them saying, "Hey, we've gotten here. Can we get some help?" Like where do you go? I mean, this is what we looked into this. Where are they coming from? Here's where they are right here. Ceuta. Right here. This is where they're at. Okay? This is Africa. And this is the Strait of Gibraltar. So here's the bottom of Spain. Here's the African continent right here. So it's right by Tangier. And they came from the water. So they came this way in. They didn't come from the land and come to this tip. So where the hell were they coming from? It's not illegal immigration. It's definitely invasion, especially to see how they're running through the street now. They have armament, like they have like freaking clubs, and they might have just been sticks, but it looks like zombie apocalypse. But yeah, the land is attached to Morocco, though. Yes, right. But I mean, you can see that they went through the security fences in one of these shots. Yeah, like all this is all border wall right here. Do people really have to be told that sex trafficking is not a victimless crime? I think so, dude. I think so many people, I think with OnlyFans and like so many girls being like, if I don't get into college, I'm gonna be on it. And like just being so open about it, especially during COVID era, that people think that prostitution is just kick ass. And then like the pimp and hoe culture that got so popular, so popularized with hip hop transitioned into like the rap culture type stuff. It just became bitches and hoes and selling this bitch, and that like people just don't think of it like, oh, she just wants to sell herself to get to that bag, and people don't think about it. It's blended in like that. They don't think of trafficking. They think of trafficking as just as prostitution. They don't think about it as people getting forced to do things they don't want to do. This is in Spain. It's called Ceuta. I don't know how to pronounce it, but here's Spain right here at the top. This is the African continent down here, but Spain owns this little tip. It's called Ceuta, Spain. I think 50 years from now, all races will be mixed, and no one will be giving a F about it. I mean, I don't think race mixing is the problem. I don't think people are like, oh, you're not white, you're not black, you're not. I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is they want to change governments. Like, I think most people's issues wouldn't be come to America and be American. It's when people come in and say, like, you have like in New York, you have the Muslim police force, you have the Jewish police force, and then the New York police force. Why not just have the New York police force? And why's everybody got to have their own like parallel governments, parallel societies? And that's the problem. It's not white supremacy. Remember, whites are the smallest. We are the minorities of the globe. But the people that would rather take over America want to say that white supremacy is the issue, like it's the problem of the world, and white people are the least populous in the world. I heard massive hippos were spotted swimming the river Grande in Texas. Rio Grande. The problem is people are assimilating. Right. They don't want to be Americans. They just want to get out. Like, and I can understand what's going on. Like we were talking about the water issue, like how a lot of like Saudi Arabia and Oman and Iran and Iraq and Egypt and whatnot, they're drying up. Their water's running out. So they're going to have to go somewhere. And the people that aren't in the rich areas are really running out of water. So I can understand that, but it's not going to be a victimless thing. Also, tiny hat gang and their fake police can't do anything. Regular citizens, only the Jewish people. Right. But the point is, you've got you've got people that want to set up different sets of laws and do different things for their own communities rather than following the Constitution, basically. Anyone want to buy 10 acres by the Rio Grande? Get you a hippo. People want the horrible policies that they're escaping from. Right, because they understand how to control people with it. When people escape horrible policies, it's because they're not the top of those policies, but they know how to rule people under it. So they leave those crappy policies so they can be the ones to create those policies and be on the top. That's what's going on. People that say, oh, this is how I'm being governed in Africa, so let's go to America and then try to start up this same structure that we had in Africa, because now I can be the king if I can convince enough people to follow under me or whatnot. Right, it's not escaping. They're just not on the top. They're not on the top. And then if they start it new, then it's just like what Americans did when they left Europe for religious freedoms. They came to America and then they said, okay, we're going to start our own stuff here. And it was something kind of like what was going on in the UK, but obviously manufactured or manipulated out to become American. Yeah, never had a civics class. What up, Papa Bear? I was conceived on that map, bro. Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's finish.
Cycle all over again.
There's no longer Paris Bookstore. And we're going to make sure that Paris Bookstore does not come back.
We went to check it out for ourselves Tuesday evening. The open sign was off and nothing was going on in the parking lot, but someone was working inside asking us to leave.
We're with Fox 4 News, following up on the indictments.
Buddy. We're not doing no interviews.
We're not doing no interviews. Dude, that guy sounds like he's from New York. That guy, we're not doing no interviews, buddy.
We're with Fox 4 News, following up on the indictments.
Buddy. We're not doing no interviews, no nothing like that.
Don't want to respond to any of the allegations?
No. We're still operating.
You're still operating?
But right now,
and it said arcade. It said there was an arcade. What kind of arcade do you think that is?
Not doing any interviews or anything. No questions, no nothing, no interviews.
Shut the door.
So sorry about that.
The DOJ says 21 firearms were recovered during this investigation. Steve, Heather?
Sex and violence.
All right, David Centenary. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. Listen to that Atlantis residual residue Atlas Mountain. What? Listen to that Atlantis residual residue Atlas Mountains. Look, the world is going to be depopulated either by inadequate fertility or disease or famine, environmental factors. Yeah, I watched something pretty interesting earlier today too about, and Billy, actually, I think I talked to you about the whole climate change thing before. Well, there was and oddly enough, what I was telling you about the other day about the whole human flourishing thing, that's now the predominant theory that what's going to happen. What we need to do is we need to knowing that the globe's going to be heated, what areas need to be helped and how to help it. Like, why isn't there more solar? Like the solar that's all over America. Why isn't that, like, America could have just burned coal? Why not move? Why not have all that solar in the Middle East? And then you could actually have people in the Middle East with air conditioning and power for air conditioning during the day and whatnot. Like, why didn't we do that as a humanity? They knew this. This is a cyclical heat. The Tardashev, I think it's a Tardashev scale. The Tardashev scale that says like how the Earth tilts as it goes around the sun over like 100,000 year cycle. Like, it gets to a point where the ice caps will creep down and then creep back, and then it'll get hot up to about 50 degrees C, and then it'll start to creep down and get colder again. So we know about these cycles. So we could, with all this money and all this wealth that we've got as a world, solar would work very, very, very well in the Middle East. The problem is with solar and wind, you're doing so much damage to the land. So you're thinking about like the environment. It's like the atmosphere and the land and the seas. The amount of land you have to dig up in order to get the materials that you need to make like solar and wind and the magnets that are inside the wind is so damaging to the area, and the water that's used in the positions that's used, the people have to work around it. It would be better if we did things differently, like got to nuclear faster. But I don't know, we can look at that. But why is there not solar panels all over the Middle East? That's the thing. Why is there not? Why isn't there that renewable energy? They've got a lot of oil and like so, but they still, that's all around where the oil is. For a group of people, it was gassed up. They love the sights of lots of the Jewish police. There's giant pine cones there. Where? Oh yes, yes. That'll fall on your head and kill you. Yeah, there's fruits too. What up? Live to survive, brother. Pine cones, huge. Evening, brother. Have a good night, Librado, brother. I got someone to call. I might be back. I'll probably be online for another half hour or so. Well, 10:30 probably. I'm thinking about Manlink cycles. Manlink. Russian scientist on house arrest discovers sun-Earth distance theory. Hold on, not 10. Russian. Let's see. No, not Galileo. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, let's see. It was yeah, it's not Tardashev. That's radiation, right? Yeah, Tardashev, that's radiation. Let's now advance. The old iPhone is now advanced civilization, basically understanding how to outdate it so fast that ancient truth existed before its life created. Yeah, it's theory. It's definitely a theory. So it was laws of physics. Our God shouldn't manipulate the water while our sun. What is it? Okay. So it was a Russian scientist that figured out, that did the calculations on how the Earth tilts and goes around the sun, and how on like a huge cycle. That's why we have like periods of like really heavy glacial movement, interstitial glacial period. A set subject to survive. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Damn it. La Boucher, Hoaxian. All right, so intervals of between 40 to 100,000 years. So like if you look at this graph and it talks about how high we go, like how it goes up. You have these very short periods of temperatures to like 3 degrees above normal. And then like you get a lot more time where it stays cold. So like we're on one of these short little periods where it gets hot. And then, but like so if you can keep enough people alive during that, and human activity has increased to that, but it's also increased how many people are on the planet and what we can do about it. I'm just glad we're not talking about dolphins. We install like 120 LED light bulbs, huge energy reduction. But yeah, no, I use LEDs too. Now she can't fly in it and try to call her. Right. Starts with an M. All right, let me see. Russian scientist who studied interstitial. No, that's not right. Interglacial, not interstitial. Here it is. Velechko. That's it right here. A prominent Russian Soviet scientist who studied quaternary paleoclimates, glacial interglacial cycles, and their chronological frequencies and structure is Velechko. So this is the guy that studied it, and then here it is. This is Milankovitch cycles. The chart here. So it's all wacko. Here's the cycles. Let me see if this is the guy. Let me see if this is the guy who was on house arrest. Let's see. Yeah, sorry. This is the guy. This is the guy right here. Milankovitch. This is him. So here, he studied calculus's famous astronomical climate cycles, while imprisoned under partial house arrest in Budapest during World War I. Arrested in 1914 by Serbian citizen Austro-Hungarian authorities, later allowed to work at the Academy of Sciences. Right, and that's what's not been told to us. That story. So if you knew this, if you were government officials and you knew this cycle, and then instead of saying, how can we save everybody, you said, how can we profit off of this the most? And then, I could do. So some people at LED bulbs, they say it's not good for you, especially daylight for your eyes. Dad, Mom say you should go to the bed. Yeah. What's up, Stevie? I just have to be grateful that Toilet Somalia and Somalia would be very jealous. Do you recall your favorite brand of toilet paper? Not Scott. Not that single ply Scott stuff. That stuff's wackadoodle. Someone could sell those crumble glaciers for mixed drinks. So there's I'm not sure if it's from Iceland or where, but they go and grab glacial ice to sell, to melt down into water, to sell glacial water. And that shit's freaking not cheap. Not cheap. I don't think really wanting to drink melted glacier water. I'm sure there's bacteria in it from centuries ago. Yeah, that's the theory. That's the theory. Yeah, that you freaking get yourself a glass of water that's been frozen for 100,000 years. Get some bug that we haven't had in our systems for ever. Yeah, that'd be bad. Glacial ice. How much is Sudafed in that? Freaking B2B. All right, where are we at? All right, it's 10 o'clock. All right, 10 o'clock. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and call it a night here. I appreciate you all hanging out with me. I love you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.